Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Charlie did not die from an overdose. Charlie was poisoned.
No other family should go through this. It's just horrific.
Go to safe.pharmacy. Use the free tool. Learn if the online pharmacy you're using is safe.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
And that's it. The first title of the OKC era is complete. One of the youngest rosters in recent memory has just completed one of the finest seasons in NBA history. The Oklahoma City Thunder have their first championship, and they're the 2025 NBA champions.
Happy Monday, everybody. The Adam Gold Show. Getting you started at noon. As you can probably tell, I am not Adam Gold. Adam's out for the day. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. If you're watching on YouTube, even more surprising that I'm not Adam Gold. I'm Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam today. He has the day off, but as you just heard a little bit there, Victoria is her name. Vodenecker still here to produce the show, so there's at least one friendly voice.
Oh, we've got two.
There it is.
It's just different.
Familiar might be a better term. And the good news is Victoria always brings the positive vibes because I'm going to start with a little bit of a downer. For as big as the games were this weekend, for as much was at stake, this was an awful weekend for big games and big events, right? I'm going to even throw the golf in there. I say it all the time, but because I don't sit in for Adam too often, I do host the show immediately after it here on 99.9 The Fan in the Triangle. But if you're in one of the other markets or whatever it is, you may not have heard me say this yet. When you don't have a rooting interest in the game, when it's not the Canes or the Panthers or somebody, your college team, when you don't have a rooting interest in the game, you just obviously you want a good game, you want this, but you want one thing. You don't want the story the next day to be the refs or injuries.
Yeah.
As long as it's not the refs or injuries, then somebody earned it, right? Somebody tossed it away. Somebody made the play, right? But when the story is refs or injuries, it feels a bit incomplete. It feels like, oh, this was one of those that didn't quite live up to expectations.
We got both.
And that's kind of universal. More personally, I would rather have a team or a player kind of go win it rather than have someone else lose it, which is kind of what we got in the golf with the Travelers Championships, if you paid attention, where as much as Keegan Bradley went to win it, Tommy Fleetwood collapsed, which that's fine. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. Part of, thrill of victory, agony of defeat, you need both. But I would have just rather it not been that way. So there's a whole bunch of, unsatisfied this weekend. Because if you watch the NBA Finals, the story you came away with was Tyrese Haliburton popped his Achilles.
Yep.
And then you came away with 75 million replays of the little recoil of the back of his leg just pop.
Right. I could see it.
It's that right there. That's when it popped. Right there. And then you see another, and you're like, and then him screaming on the ground in pain, and then him being carried to the locker room, and then him on the crutches after the game. Like, that was the story. Bill Simmons, who covers basketball as much as and deeply and fanatically as anyone in media, he said in his recap that this was the first postseason in NBA that he can remember where he's not, like, when he reminisces on this playoffs, the first team he thinks about isn't going to be the champion.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Pacers because they were more interesting, because they were more out of nowhere, and then they had all the injury and the what if, and that's such a bummer.
It is.
TJ McConnell, who I think made himself a lot of fans this postseason, backup point guard for the Pacers, had this to say on Haliburton's injury and then how the team responded.
It's hard to believe that I'm part of that group. It's hard to even fathom that I'm that type of basketball player sometimes. As a kid, you dream, and every kid dreams, but you don't ever really know if it's going to come true. And I'm just glad and happy that my dreams have been able to come true, and that's a thank you to everyone that's been in my corner that's helped me get here. I wouldn't be able to have done without them. They know exactly who they are. So, yeah, it's a win for the family.
So actually, that was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on winning MVP, Finals MVP, scoring champ, and NBA champ. See, this is what I'm talking about. The story is never what you want the story to be. Now we have TJ McConnell lined up talking about Tyrese Haliburton's injury and how the team responded.
It was a tough feeling to see your franchise guy go down like that, but to have to move on and kind of compartmentalize it is tough. You know, I thought we were fine. We you know, I don't even remember the score going into halftime, but we were up 1. So, you know, I thought we did a good job of kind of compartmentalizing it. Obviously, we missed him, but you know, we all are devastated for him, and you know, obviously support him.
There is some poetic justice in what just happened there, right? We're sitting here talking about the injury, and through our own little misstep there, they forced us to talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who actually won, which is the real story, right? The real story is the Thunder won the championship, right? And you can't take it away. There's no asterisk there. Injuries happen, but for whatever reason, all we want to talk about is the injury, and that's a bummer. Then you go to the College Baseball World Series, which, by the way, awesome postseason in college baseball. I know that the teams in kind of our neck of the woods in North Carolina maybe didn't have the postseasons they'd want to, but Coastal's a great story. Murray State was a great story. The no-hitter by Arkansas was a great story. There's a really fun, really varied college baseball World Series throughout the postseason and obviously in Omaha. And then it comes down to a potential elimination game. And all you can talk about is the umps. So you get an NBA Finals, all you can talk about is the injuries. You get a College Baseball World Series, all you can talk about is the umps, the refs, the officials. The umps ejected Coastal Carolina's coach, Kevin Schnall, in the first inning of an elimination game in the final of the College Baseball World Series. In the final. And that's immediately, like, you knew it before the game was in the second inning that was going to be what everyone was going to talk about, especially if Coastal didn't win, which they didn't, and that immediately leads into the next deal. And this is going to be the most unpopular thing I say all day, so I might as well just rip the Band-Aid off and do it.
Just do it.
The coach has to wear it. I know that the umpire made it an ump show. And I know that the umpire is the one that everybody's mad at, and he had to, you know, all he said was 3 pitches, and all he said. Ryan McGee of ESPN broke it down really simply. The coach that got ejected, Schnall, was arguing balls and strikes. That is a no-no, okay? That's just, you can't do it. He was given a warning, formal warning, including about his profanity, although who cares about profanity in this case? But he was given the warning. Then he came out of the dugout to further argue, and you opened the door for the ump to make it an ump show. He was ejected, was supposed to leave, and didn't. Thus, you get an additional game suspension, 2 games for prolonged arguing. This is all, by the way it was explained to me, like paint by numbers. The umps aren't supposed to have decision-making here. It's, if this happens, I do this. If that happens, I do that. It's all just checklist-style umpiring. Would we all like for him to have a better feel for the moment and say, well, I'm going to give you an extra warning here, or I'm going to really let you know, like, I'm going to? Yes, we would. But Coastal's coach has to be better than that. And then his assistant, Matt Schilling, he's also ejected for comments because anyone that argues other than the head coach, balls and strikes, or the acting head coach of the balls, if the head coach had been ejected, anyone arguing balls and strikes at all, warning or not, gets ejected right away. And it's a 1-game suspension on top of the ejection. That is what it is. Now, like, do I disagree with it? Yes. Am I like everybody else saying it's, you know, you got to have a feel for the moment? Absolutely. But it's the first inning of a 9-inning game. The coach has to be able to control that, especially because of what coaches are teaching players, which is control your emotions, control what you can control. The ref's going to make bad calls. All you can do is next play, next play, next play. Do I like that this is the story we're talking about rather than something as simple as LSU won, and they now have won 2 of the last 3, and they've got a little thing going, and they're buying championships. I would love to be talking about how the SEC bought another championship. I would love to be talking about that. But we can't because there was an umpire's decision.
Always, yep.
And then Tommy Fleetwood collapsing and Keegan Bradley winning the Travelers Championship is I would say less of like a cardinal rule. We can't enjoy this, but there is something different, especially in golf, when somebody and Keegan played well down the stretch. He played the last 3 1 under, but when there's 2 ways to win or pass somebody in a race. One is to run faster. The other is to have them run slower.
Right.
And it's more fun when you run faster to pass them than it is when they slow down to move behind you. So even that, which leads to a whole bunch of different decisions, right? Keegan Bradley, does he put himself on the Ryder Cup? He's the Ryder Cup captain. Tommy Fleetwood, will he ever win on the PGA Tour despite always being right there? It leads to all these really interesting conversations, but it still felt like the guy that played the best golf for the most of the weekend didn't win. And that one's different. I put it in its own category, but it's still a bummer. So it was kind of for as big as the stakes were in all of these events, that's an awful weekend of results.
I know. There's a little asterisk to like everything.
There is. I mean, I don't want to do that. Asterisks make me mad because it's not like the Thunder asked Tyrese Haliburton to pop his Achilles. And that might be, for a bunch of those guys, their career-defining achievement. And they might have won anyway, right? Even if Haliburton plays, they might have won. So we don't want to take that away, but it definitely feels incomplete. So for that reason, let's give some credit where it's due. Let's play that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander clip one more time. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on winning MVP, finals MVP, scoring champ, and NBA champ in the same season, which, if you look at it historically, is way more rare than you think.
It's hard to believe that I'm part of that group. It's hard to even fathom that I'm that type of basketball player sometimes. As a kid, you dream, and every kid dreams, but you don't ever really know if it's going to come true. And I'm just glad and happy that my dreams have been able to come true, and that's a thank you to everyone that's been in my corner that's helped me get here. I wouldn't be able to have done without them. They know exactly who they are. So, yeah, it's a win for the family.
The 4 members of the fraternity that have won MVP, finals MVP, scoring title, and obviously with a finals MVP won the championship in the same season are Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, did it once. Michael Jordan did it 4 times because he's MJ. And Shaq did it once in the early 2000s, and that's it. And now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, so add one more. The Thunder won the NBA title. That's really fun because it proves one of my favorite theories in sports. There's always space for people that think differently. There's always space for people to zag when everyone else zigs. And it will almost always be one of the most important things in sports is, can you build it in a different way? Can you look at it differently and find the hidden value? The Thunder are exactly what so many of you hated. Are the antithesis of what so many of you hated. There's no super team there. There was no team or superstar player demanding a trade to the Thunder. There's no, they're a big market and everybody just goes there to play in a massive brand building opportunity. There's none of that. This is not LeBron, Bosh, and Wade on the Heat. This is none of that. Matter of fact, they are the result of someone trying to do that elsewhere. right? This whole team, essentially, or at least the core, was built around trading away Paul George as the Clippers tried to go full super team, and they brought back Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They brought back 7 picks, I think it was, in that, and a few other guys. It's a team assembled by the team. The guys that were traded to the Thunder were done so kind of against their will, rather than demanding that opportunity. The lesson is to zig when everyone else zags. And I kind of love that, right? Because there's a copycat league thing where it makes it almost impossible to be effective in it. If somebody wins, everybody tries to go, there's the blueprint. Let's follow it. Beautiful, right? Let's go right there. There's the winner. And the issue is, then it's like a fishing hole for those of you that go fishing. Somebody goes there, catches a bunch of fish, tells everybody they know about it. Suddenly there's 37 boats there and nobody's catching any fish, or everybody's catching 1 fish rather than everybody catching 37 fish. And then you go, no, that fishing hole stinks, when it's not true. It's the one person that thought differently and said, you all went to that fishing hole, I'm going to go to the other side of the lake, and they're bringing them in by the net full. So while everybody was chasing the next super team, doing dumb things like trading 1 million picks for Kevin Durant, Houston, doing dumb things like trading 1 million picks for Paul George. OKC did it, but then they corrected it by sending him away to the Clippers. And it goes on and on and on. Mikal Bridges, and there's so many examples of it. Meanwhile, the Thunder were sitting there going, I'll acquire picks. I'll acquire picks. I'll acquire young players. I'll acquire young players. If we make a big trade, it's going to be for Alex Caruso. It's not going to be for the all-star because he fits a need, and you build the team, and you build the team, and you build the team until you're the best team in the NBA. Everyone trades a bunch of young players and picks for a star. The team that just won a championship was the team that traded the star for a bunch of young players and picks. And guess what's going to happen now? Everybody's going to see that. And the Pacers, similar, right? The Pacers won the East on a similar trajectory, similar path. People are going to see that, and what are they going to do? Now that's going to be the new soup du jour, and there's going to be some other hidden way to build a team. Eventually, it'll be cost-effective to trade for the star again. Because everybody's going to go, I want to have 900 first-round picks like the Thunder. Did you see how the Thunder did it? There's very few complete and total independent thinkers in sports. And if you know me, you know I quote this movie a ton. Moneyball, right? The Brad Pitt vehicle. There is a saying from Paul. I almost said Paul Thomas Anderson. Philip Seymour Hoffman, who's playing the manager. Right? There's an argument about who to start. You guys don't need all the details. If you've seen the movie, you know where I'm going. He says, I'm managing this team in a way that I can explain in job interviews next winter. So he's saying if I get fired or if I don't get my contract renewed, I want to be able to easily explain to everybody else why I made the decisions I made. If you manage your team as a GM, if you coach your team as a coach, if you manage your baseball team, whatever it is, with that idea, you're never going to be different than anybody else. Well, yeah, I traded a bunch of young players and picks for Kevin Durant. Why? Which is exactly what the Rockets just did. Because, did you see all these super teams that were being made? Everybody would have done that. You see how much was traded for this guy and that guy and this guy and that guy? It was the smart thing to do. Everybody knew that. Then it's not going to work. And then you're going to sit around going, well, at least everybody would have done it. I can explain that. The Thunder, on the other hand, would have been sitting there going, well, we traded Paul George away, and then we had to wait a bunch of years, but eventually we built the best team. That's much more difficult to explain. And by the way, there has to be, in order for these super teams to work, last thing I'll say, there has to be some synergy. You got to have the planets align.
It helps.
LeBron, Wade, and Bosh they weren't traded for each other. They happened to all be free agents. And they were also way better than all of these super teams being put together. The year before they got together in win shares per 48 minutes, whatever. There's some advanced analytic. LeBron, Wade, and Bosh were the first, third, and seventh best player in the entire league. People that are trying to mimic that are getting the 7th, 14th and 28th best player and acting like it's the same thing. It's not. Your big three has to be 3 top 7 players to win 2 championships in 4 years. It's not how it works. I'd be very, very surprised if the Rockets do anything with Kevin Durant. And he's 36, about to be 37, and you got 2 years to do it. You put together the 1st, 3rd, and 7th best player in the league on the Heat. They won one of the next 2 years. It's kind of difficult. Very difficult. I do want to give Keegan Bradley his love for a second here. Just because it's the Adam Gold Show, and I know that Adam would be proud to know that we tipped our hat to some golf.
Yes.
For better or worse, the upcoming Ryder Cup is going to be the Keegan Bradley show for the United States. There's a Scotty Scheffler. He'll be there. Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas. They'll be, hanging out. They'll be playing some golf. But it's going to all be about Keegan Bradley. And he might fit it. Maybe. First of all, let's hear from Keegan and his interview after winning the Travelers up in his home part of the country up there in New England. He's from Vermont. This is from after the weekend where he got his latest PGA Tour win.
Keegan Bradley, this has become one of the great arenas on the PGA Tour. Every single fan is here for you at the place you said means everything. What does it feel like to get it done once again in front of them?
Absolutely incredible. I feel an obligation to play for the people of New England and the Northeast and represent them, and this is the best way I can do it.
You had some unbelievable moments today, starting with that huge putt on 9, then 15, then right here on 18. What moment are you most proud of?
That one right there. That was of all the shots and all the putts I've hit, I think I'm going to remember that one the most.
That one was clutch. It would be really clutch during something like the Ryder Cup. I know you said you would only be a playing captain if you earned it on points. Have you convinced yourself that you would be an additive to this team now?
Go USA.
Go USA.
Throw that in there. Love it.
I think he's putting himself on the list.
Yeah.
Whether he makes it on points or not, I think now this win gives him the cover to say, no, I've earned my way. I'm putting myself on the list. And by the way, he chased down Tommy Fleetwood, who is a stalwart on the European Ryder Cup team. So that could very well be a matchup that ends up happening. And having that little leg up definitely feels kind of good. He also, and I don't even, this might be stereotyping, but my dad's from New England, so I feel like I'm allowed to. He might have that weird New Englander thing where he needs to get mad and angry and work his way into a tizzy before he plays his best. He plays so much better in New England when everybody's kind of, on his side, or his team is on his side, you could say, than he does elsewhere. That's the vibe at a Ryder Cup. And I know he wasn't unbelievable, although he and Phil played well in 2012 and 2014 when he was on the Ryder Cup team. But he's older now and he's different. He's got an edge to him. We may have unlocked the Keegan Bradley that the U.S. needs for the Ryder Cup, which is a weird way to say it because like I said, there's so many bigger names. The Colin Morikawas, the Scotty Schefflers, the bigger names out there. I'm looking forward to kind of the year of Keegan Bradley.
Yeah. Change it up a little.
And he was snubbed from the last Ryder Cup team. So there's so much emotion there. He's going to show up. He's going to be the guy yelling America, USA, like a little
right.
too loud. Like, all right, buddy. Yeah, okay.
We hear you.
Go ahead. Take this. You're on the tee. Yeah. You can stop flapping your arms like an eagle now and go take your shot.
Nope, can't do it.
Yeah, he's like, give me a few more minutes.
I need another. I need another
I've been working
minute.
on my eagle call for months. Give me a minute here.
Yeah.
Warming it up. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan is later. I promise I'll get better at that. I'm sitting in for Adam Gold here on the Adam Gold Show. The Drive is later on. I encourage you to check that out. But for right now, it's the Adam Gold Show. We just checked. There's our quota for golf, although we probably will come back to it during the Adam Gold Show. And up next, we're going to try to hit some of our quota for hockey, right? Again, Adam Gold, we got to make sure we do it.
Right.
This summer, this offseason for the Canes is all about one thing for me. I'll tell you what that is next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Every offseason, I tell myself, don't fall for it. Don't get excited by minicamp highlights. And then you see one grainy clip from the sideline of Bryce Young throwing a deep ball to Teteroa McMillan, and I fall for the trap every time. Teteroa McMillan, Rookie of the Year, 10 touchdowns, book it.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharkies. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Yes.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
Hey, Tim Donnelly here for Men's Health Month. And for Men's Health Month, we are joined by Dr. Jonathan Chappell, orthopedic sports medicine surgeon from Wake Orthopedics. Doctor, can you start with some of the most common injuries you see in men coming into your facilities?
We most commonly see an uptick in the male population in fractures and tendon injuries. Fractures are things like collarbone fractures or wrist fractures, usually with certain sports like mountain biking or skiing or snowboarding. Injuries of the tendons like rotator cuffs and the biceps tendon and the Achilles tendon are often also associated with sports. So there's a lot of jump, starting, and stopping can lead to these tendon injuries. If you have an injury and you feel a pop, or you have immediate swelling, immediate pain in a joint and you can't bear weight, or you notice a deformity, these are circumstances you should probably see someone at an urgent care like Wake Orthopedic Urgent Care or at Wake Med to seek help right away.
For more information on men's health, this Men's Health Month, and all around the calendar, please visit wakemed.org. Once again, that is wakemed.org.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
This is Adam Gold.
You know, soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show. Tim Donnelly here, sitting in for Adam Gold. Reminder that you should check out my show, The Drive. If you're in the Triangle, just keep it tuned to 99.9 immediately after this one. If you are not in the Triangle, check out our YouTube live stream every single day, 3 to 6, The Drive. You obviously know where to find the Adam Gold Show. You're listening to it now. I actually have some info from Adam Gold to pass along. we're going to talk about what this summer is all about, what this offseason is all about for the Carolina Hurricanes. And some of you may be itching for thoughts on Trevor Zegras. This whole entire offseason, every 48 hours, there's been a new player of some kind of value, whether it's the all-star all the way down to just solid contributor. There's some new player that everybody wants to talk about being on the move. Elliot Friedman put out I don't know, like the bat call that Zegras could be on the move.
Yep.
And now everybody wants him. I'll pass along exactly what Adam Gold responded with. Super skilled, somewhat allergic to defense, winger, 24 years old, a smaller, younger, left-handed version of Natchez, only without the super top-end speed.
Yep.
Does not sound like somebody Adam wants.
Well, we don't have to worry about it because I'm going to break even more news.
Oh, I like this.
He's going to the Phillies. So
he's going to the Flyers?
He's going to be with, he's going to be in Philadelphia. So, yeah,
that
he's not going to be
shut.
here.
That opened and shut real quick. Well, good thing, huh?
Yep.
We didn't want him anyway.
All right.
So that's actually that's the mark of truth. I was saying that before I knew he went to Philly.
Yeah.
So already we didn't want him. So Congratulations. Go spend your cap space in your trade capital, Philly.
Yes.
That's interesting. All right, so he's on the move. West Coast, East Coast. Here's the way my entire offseason is going to work. And I've learned this basically through what I was talking about with that 48-hour rule, where there's this feeling that Nikolai Ehlers, do you want him? And then for 48 hours, everybody talks about Nikolai Ehlers. Maybe every single 48 hours, there's like a 12-hour span where people talk about Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner, do you want him? And it goes on and on and on down the list, all the way towards every team that might be selling, every free agent that might be available. Do you want him? Do you want him? Do you want him? Which is awesome because the Canes have the cap space and the trade capital to pretty much make them all options. Do you want him? Do you want him? Do you want him? Here's my official take. Don't be distracted by all of the fancy wings and wingers, and don't be distracted by guys like Zegras when they become available. Don't be distracted by all of the guys that play out there on the sides and miss on getting a center. This offseason is the summer of centers for the Carolina Hurricanes, and I understand that you're probably going to have to do some work to get there. But you don't have all the time in the world. We are, 4 days to the NHL draft, 8 days to free agency opening up. Things are starting to get here pretty darn quickly. And I will admit the free agency center group, not great, unless you're willing to take a kind of placeholder to fill for 2 or 3 years, somebody like John Tavares. Sam Bennett, not really available. It sounds like he's going to end up in Florida. There's Pius Suter. There was Trent Frederick. He's off the board. There was Matt Duchene. He's off the board. There's not a super robust center market, so it might have to be in the trade market, which means you have to look around and figure out who and where and how you're gonna fill it. But the issue is, while that's going on, and you have to figure out who's available, and you have to make the offers and receive the counters and receive the angry texts of course not. That is insulting to the value of our player. You have to go through all of that. Meanwhile, there's, like I said, there's Mitch Marner and Nikolai Ehlers and Brock Besser and all of this woo, fancy, flashy, shiny wingers that all you got to do is negotiate with them and their agent, but don't lose sight of the main thing. It's I'm calling it like the are you a Seinfeld fan at all?
A little bit.
Okay.
I'm trying to dive into it.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm trying to start from. I know, right? I hear good things. So
well, there's an episode where it's the summer of George. And he's like optimistically trying to manifest like the summer of George. It's the summer of get a center.
Yes, please.
I'm trying to manifest it. The summer of get a center, because and this is what I said about the 48 hours thing. Every time wings are brought up, my response is kind of the same, because the Canes have a little less now, but $27 million roughly in cap space, and they have 6 first-round picks in the next 4 drafts, and they have to explain it in a kind of easily to digest way. There was an all-prospect team in the AHL, and both Scott Morrow as well as Bradley Nadeau made the all-prospect team. It was the first time in history that one system had 2 players in the same year receive that particular recognition. So they have the prospects, they have the money, they have the draft capital, they have most of their long-term core already locked up to very team-friendly deals. So they have everything at their disposal. So every single time someone's like, do you want Marner? My response is the same thing. I'd love him as long as they also get a center. Because you can pay him $14 million a year and still have plenty of money and trade capital and whatever else you want to spend to go get your center. Do you want Nikolai Ehlers? Oh, sure. I think he'd fit in nicely as long as you get a center. So if all of your reactions, or all of my reactions, I should say, come with that caveat of as long as you get a center, then I think you should focus on getting a center, or at least make sure you know, like you do the casino thing, where I don't know if anyone else does this. When you go to a casino, if you hit like a decent win early, you take the original amount of money that you brought and you put it in your pocket. Like that amount of chips is in your pocket, and you don't touch it.
Right.
And now everything on the table is fun money, right? That's just woo, let's go.
Don't feel bad about it.
They need to take whatever they intend to spend on a center and put it in their pocket. Then you can go nuts, right? Then you can hit free agency and go crazy and get big names and get scores and go crazy, knowing that, okay, we still have this money for our center in our pocket. Consider that like ride home money. Like I need at least enough for the Uber back to the hotel. That's the center money. Put that in your pocket. Because how many years during lows in the regular season, darn sure in the postseason, have we lamented the Canes not having a great second line center? I mean, in the postseason, you're rotating through Kotkaniemi, Roslovic, and Jankowski with like Svech and Jarvis on either side, or Hall and Svech on either side, and that's not good enough, right? So you finally have an offseason where you can get anything you want. You're the kid going into the arcade, like where you spend your tickets, and you just have, I don't even know if they do this anymore. Now it's all on little like credit cards. It used to be you could tell the kid that had it all, right? He'd walk in with just armfuls of arcade tickets.
Oh, yeah.
And his parents could look at him and go, get anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you were there for like, an hour in the afternoon, and your parents were like, get any eraser or bouncy ball that you'd like.
Right.
But this kid would walk in and he'd have it all and be like, goodness gracious, and he'd get like the remote control car, and you'd be so jealous. The Canes are right now the kid with all of the arcades, all of the arcade tickets. And you're going to walk in, and there's going to be the bouncy balls, and there's going to be everything designed to distract you. You got to get the center. Then you can spend everything else on whatever else you want. You got to get the center. And later on in the show, I'm going to do a thought exercise. We did this on my show and had a good time with it, where we remove all, like modesty might be the word, or humble might be the word. We remove all speed governors, the things that slow you down because, that's not realistic. And we let you just say the best case scenario. What is the absolute best case scenario for the Carolina Hurricanes this offseason, building towards next year, which I believe has to be a cup or bust season? When you make it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals and you still have so much to spend and so many more resources to add, it has to be a cup or bust season. What is the best case scenario? We're going to ask that question. And it is absurd how many times it ends with like Robertson and Marner. And I'm going, that first line is going to be crazy, but you're probably going to have Jarvis centering the second line. And if you haven't had Jarvis centering a line yet with everybody you've had out there at center, they don't want him centering a line. Or you're going to have Kotkaniemi back up there, and there's nothing more universally told to me by Canes fans than they don't want Kotkaniemi back up there with the second line. That is as universal as, baseball players hate rain. It is super known. So solve this offseason. Solve center. Matter of fact, and I've said this before, and this might be, I already said earlier today that my take on the baseball was the most controversial. This might be the next most controversial thing I'll say. I'd be okay if Sebastian Aho's a second center.
Oh, yeah.
I would, for me, I'd call them 1A and 1B just to make, because I was my guy. It's not really 1A and it's not 1 and 2. It's 1A and we have 2 first-line centers.
Yes.
But think that way, right? Go get somebody that makes Sebastian Aho your second-line center.
That would be ideal.
Because guess what happens or somebody as good as Sebastian Aho, your second-line center. And the reason why I say that is then Stahl is a 3. He's not a third center that is playing second-line minutes because you trust him more than your second-line center. You need your second-line center to be way better than Jordan Stahl, so there's not the temptation to play him all those minutes. And that's no disrespect to Jordan Stahl. His line absolutely has a role, but it shouldn't be scoring as much as a second line should. You'll see it all makes sense when we get to the portion of the show, I believe it's in the second hour, where I literally go full. It's all plausible. It all makes sense under the cap. I don't think anything is. I'm not sitting here saying like trade of second-round pick for McDavid. I'm not making it outlandish, but there is, if everything breaks your way, how the offseason could go. I think it's a really, really exciting place for the Canes this offseason. They can literally do anything. That's how much resource they have. The Adam Gold Show continuing. I'm Tim Donnelly, by the way, filling in for Adam Gold. And when we come back, Victoria is going to line things up. Speaking of hockey, we have some one-timers coming your way. Don't go anywhere.
From the heels.
Touchdown, Carolina.
To the Canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're talking about a major collaboration that's making waves in Iredell County. Kim Holland, Development Coordinator for the Iredell Health Foundation, tells us about Whole 3.
The goal of the collaborative is about addressing the complex and interwoven challenges that many families in Iredell County face. And, things like poverty, lack of access to health care, and educational disparities. So it's designed as truly a collaborative. It's community-led initiative. We're bringing together schools, nonprofits, health systems, and families to build a system that actually works for families, not just around them.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Every parent wants their child to grow up healthy and strong, especially if they have a special medical need. And when my son Maddox was born with a rare neurological disorder, private insurance wouldn't cover his care. But Medicaid stepped in, and now Maddox can go to school and have a future of his own. My name is Ashley, and I'm speaking up to protect NC Medicaid.
Learn more at ncchild.org/speakup. That's ncchild.org/speakup.
Healthcare? Why?
Why is it so hard?
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Really?
Really. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting all your benefits, prescriptions, and details on your computer and phone. Convinced?
No, but it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina, making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
As public power customers, we experience fewer outages and faster restoration than customers of other electric providers. But the benefits of having a locally owned electric system go far beyond unbeaten reliability. Our local public power employees support our community, providing electric hookups for events, installing and maintaining ballpark lights, holiday lights, traffic lights, street lights, and more. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
As a school nurse, I feel like we're really that contact for the schools between the Department of Public Health and what goes on in the school system.
The face of the Department of Public Health in our school is our nurse, Nurse Emma. All the communication that she was receiving and direction she was receiving, she made sure to communicate with us and be a wonderful partner with us.
These kids need their routines.
NC Public Health. Everywhere, every day, everyone.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different. Talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
All right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's what.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show on a Monday. I'm Tim Donnelly. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter, x.com at Donnelly Sports, Donnelly Sports. Take our relationship to the next level. Start communicating directly. At Donnelly Sports on Twitter, and as always, I'm sure you already do, follow Victoria as well. A lot of great combat sport content.
Oh man,
coming
this
out of
weekend
Victoria's.
this was a good weekend.
Was it?
I'm glad that the card was way earlier too. Maybe that makes me old, but these 8 o'clock starts when they're 6 hours long. I'm like, come on.
That's one of like the real you have to look yourself in the mirror moments and go, I'm older. When you see like a random one-off sporting event that's like an hour earlier, and you're just like, yes, all right.
Right.
I could be in bed by 11:15. It's
Right?
it's so nice, and it's so
Exactly.
There's like a stop you in your tracks moment where you're like, oh, I'm old. Oh, that happened.
Yep. But
All
it's
right.
brutal. Why are we starting main events at 12:30? Let's not.
I lived for a while in Nebraska, just a handful of years.
Oh.
Nebraska is what it is, but the time difference was fantastic. Just 1 hour earlier on everything.
Mhm.
I also lived in Hawaii growing up. That's a whole different beast because then you got to wake up and have your breakfast at like 7 a.m. watching NFL football. Not sure I love that. But just 1 hour earlier, if you go even a little bit further west, 2 hours earlier, that's just lovely. That's just you're rested for Monday morning. That's just great.
Nobody's sleepy.
Let's go ahead and fire up one-timers. And from here, Victoria takes it away. So I don't even know why I'm talking. Victoria, have it.
No, you're good. So we have some people getting some one-timers in here last minute. So we actually had Adam answer this question last week, but you're not Adam. So I will
All right.
give this one to you because I don't believe Sawyer heard it last week. So he wants to know, what are the chances we could see Rod on the coaching staff for Team Canada at the upcoming Olympics?
Interesting. To be completely honest, I'm not familiar with how they make those selections. I would assume he would be near the top of the list of guys you would call.
Yeah.
I would assume he would bring. I'll put it this way: I am as big of a fan of Rod Brind'Amour as anybody. I consider it a sport when the fan base overreacts to a Eastern Conference Finals loss and they start talking about job security or glass ceilings that he can't break through. I consider it a sport because I like, I go old school, like crack my knuckles and start typing, like, let's have this argument. But I actually believe, as unbelievably as a head coach, and I would never fire him, any of that kind of stuff, I think he might be a better assistant coach in like a national team situation because he can see things so much through the player's perspective. He can be that kind of sounding board. So if you had a hard-nosed head coach, I think it would be perfect. But I don't know how those selections happen. So that's you're going to figure that one out on your own. Sorry, Sawyer.
Yeah. Well, next one from Smart Charlie, which I hope this does come true, Charlie. So will Rod finally be elected to the NHL Hall of Fame?
Here is my struggle with that. If he hasn't been already, what's changed? Right? This is, I don't like it when it happens in Major League Baseball for the Baseball Hall of Fame all the time. When people just say like, oh, he got to 60%. He's definitely going to get to the 75 in the next 3 ballots. I'm going, well, why? He's not going to go score more goals. He's not. Now, Rod Brindamore should have been in a long time ago. Yeah. That much I think we can all agree on. So is it just people like coming to, like they're just having their aha moment, like, oh, I'm being ridiculous here? I can't predict people who are just wishy-washy like that. If I could predict, if it was based on deserved, if it was based on resume, if it were based on any of that, he'd already be in. So whatever it's based off of, when people just feel like it, I don't like gambling on either. Decisions, right? Every once in a while you see in college football, like Ohio State will be playing Eastern, Western, South, Wyoming, and the spread will be 55.5.
Right.
And I go, all right, that's not, Ohio State is more than 55.5 points better than Eastern, Western, Southern, Wyoming. But we don't know if they're going to choose to win by 56 because, right, the coach keeps the foot on the gas, they'll win by 100. If he takes his foot off the gas at 35, they'll win by 35. This is just people's free will on when Rod gets in. He better get in, but I'm not going to act like I can predict it because they're foolish not to have him in already.
Yeah. Well, sticking along NHL lines, so if McDavid, well, I'll put it this way.
You just said McDavid. Everyone went, ooh.
I know.
It's all the only word I heard was McDavid. I went,
So I'll put it this way. Does Connor McDavid need to win a cup to solidify his legacy?
Well, it depends. Part of his legacy is secured. He's one of the best players to ever live. If he wants to be in the inner circle, he needs to win a cup. And that's probably unfair, but there is a, I don't know why. In my brain, these conversations are always, because I never went like clubbing. Mm-hmm. But to me, all of these conversations are like a club in New York City with the red velvet rope. And there's just a big bouncer on the outside, either letting them in or not. And there is a certain VIP room with the Gretzkys and the Lemieux and the Howes and others. That's not fully comprehensive, but those types of guys. And like the cover charge is multiple MVPs and a cup. You know what I mean? Multiple MVPs, couple of records, and a cup. Multiple MVPs, couple of records, 150-point season, and a cup. Mm-hmm. Or maybe multiple cups, right? Depending on how you do it. So it's not like, oh, if he doesn't win a cup, he's going to, tumble down to the 187th best player to ever play the game. But if he wants to be in that inner circle VIP back room where there's no limits on the poker table and the drinks are free, yeah, he does. He does need a cup.
Yeah,
and that's probably what he's thinking about with the way he's talking to the media now and trying to put pressure on Edmonton to make some things happen.
Well, moving on to basketball. So we have the NBA draft this Wednesday. Now Cooper Flagg, he's in it, and everyone knows that he's gonna go first, basically. But who is your next ACC guy you see going, and where is he going?
The earliest possible for me is Knipple to Charlotte at 4. I don't know if that happens. I think they're hoping that VJ Edgecombe falls that far. Ace Bailey, I don't know if anyone's been following what's going on with Ace Bailey. He's refusing to work out for anybody, which seems bold to me.
Yeah.
Because I do believe if he worked out well for the Sixers, he'd be in play at 3, which would then push Edgecombe down to 4 with the Hornets. But I don't know how, like if somebody refuses to work out for you, how do you draft them? But then also, if you don't draft them just because they refuse to work out for you and they become like a superstar, do you feel dumb? Maybe. So I'll go Knipple at 4. Con Knipple from Duke at 4. And then next would probably be Malawash, also from Duke, at 8 to Brooklyn, maybe. So they get 3 in the top 10, and then, John Shire gets to shake a lot of hands and be very excited.
Yes, I like shaking hands. So, sticking with ACC, this is a bit of a prediction question. So, looking at our ACC football teams, and we can even just focus in on the 3 here locally in Raleigh, how would you rank them for potentially having the best to worst season? So, who do you think out of Duke, UNC, State will have the better seasons?
I think they're similar, but they got their very different ways. For best, the Bill Belichick wild card. What the heck is that? Is Darian Mensah a wild card quarterback for Duke? What does he bring? NC State's been radio silent, so we're just going like best, next best out of those 3.
Right.
I'll go Duke State UNC. I'll go Duke State UNC. I kind of like the way State's moving quietly, especially because their basketball team is making so much noise. I think there's some stability, some sneaking up happening there. UNC, I think we were too aggressive on the Belichick timeline in that he was going to show up and everything was going to be, the 5 stars were going to show up the next day. They're starting to get their recruiting going, top 20 in 2026 class, so I think next year might be the year where it all comes together. Omarion Hampton's not walking through those doors. And Duke, they've been pretty consistent. So, and Darian Mensah's a $3-4 million quarterback, so he's going to have to live up to that. And Manny Diaz got some things cooking, so I don't think any of them are 10-win teams. Probably 9-8-7. The Adam Gold Show on a Monday, cruising along. When we come back, this was an awful weekend for very, very big games. Still big games, right? Still good, kind of. But it was also awful. I'll tell you why. Stick around. Don't go anywhere.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I know the hurricane season came to an end. Another year with a loss to Florida in the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 of the last 3. But it's been a great year, and it's going to be a great summer with all that cap room the Hurricanes have. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, from free agency to trades to the draft. We'll have player interviews, special sit-down with Rod Brindamore that he doesn't even know about yet. He'll do it, don't worry. Just stay tuned to the Canes Corner podcast on YouTube. Search Canes Corner and wherever you get your podcast.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen Report.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
What is dedication?
I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
Get in the hole! That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Wells Sykes, he homered his last time up in the 7th. And Sykes on the ground to second. The flip to the shortstop, Milam. On to first, double play. And the Elite Eight for LSU. The Tigers have their 8th Men's College World Series championship. LSU, your national baseball champions, with a 5-3 win over Coastal Carolina.
The Adam Gold Show rolls on. I'm Tim Donnelly filling in for Adam today. Actually, Victoria, you know better than I. Adam's gone for a couple of days now, right?
Yeah, he should be out for the rest of the week,
All right.
whole week. But he's not going anywhere. It's a staycation.
So
burning some PTO.
Continue to follow him on social media at @AGoldFan on Twitter, as there will be breaking news and trades and signings and re-signings, I should say, in the NHL. And obviously, Adam, good spot to get reactions for all of that. And that played into what I'm about to say. For as high potential as this past weekend had, there was a lot of air out of the balloon where it's like, oh, you're waiting for the pop. Oh, here it comes. And then like you get that instead of the pop.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll even include the NHL with it, right? Because if you're like me, you do have your phone set up for alerts and everything because you don't want to miss something what the Canes do. And you get the alert. Jonathan Taves. Nope, not and it's a big money, but it's all weirdly incentives, and it's a very strange contract.
Yeah.
Or even something like I know it was last week, the Matt Duchene, or something along the lines of Trevor Zegras that just happened, the trade for Zegras from out
Anaheim.
west.
Yeah.
Anaheim all the way to Philly, which we learned about during the last hour.
Yep.
The Mason Marchment trade was this way back last week, where you knew that Dallas was going to have to unload players. And if you're like me, you may have been hoping that Robertson was kind of the end-all be-all, right? They were going to use Robertson to solve all their problems. Then they send out Marchment, and it's just like, oh, so close, yet very unsatisfying, right? Very unsatisfying. Congratulations, Seattle Kraken. You get Marchment for pennies because they have cap problems. And then it goes into the NBA Finals, and there's the best words in sports. I don't know how many times people said that. Game 7, NBA Finals. Game 7. And then Tyrese Haliburton pops his Achilles, and that becomes the story that everybody wants to talk about, rather than we may have an emerging dynasty-ish with the OKC Thunder, because they are so young and they are in a good space with the cap, and they do have $1 billion first-round picks. And instead of those conversations, which, by the way, those conversations are really annoying most of the time. When you start talking dynasty or legacy, right? When you tune in at the rest of the month of June, you're going to tune into ESPN at some point in time, and they're going to be talking about Dak Prescott's legacy as a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, and they're going to be nitpicking, is so-and-so elite or not, and they're just going to fill time with it. And normally it's annoying. But right after a team wins the NBA championship is when you do ask, could this be the beginning of a dynasty? But instead of doing that, you're asking, what if Tyrese Haliburton didn't pop his Achilles? And you're asking, is there something wrong with the NBA? Because it seems to be so much more Achilles popping going on around here. Just in this postseason, Dame Lillard, Jason Tatum, Tyrese Haliburton. I think there were 6 or 7 of them total over the season. They're playing a higher pace. They're more explosive athletes. That's not a fun conversation to have. We went from the most exciting thing in sports, Game 7, to asking, are we having more Achilles ruptures in the last 5 years? That's not the way you want those conversations to go. And everybody's kind of bummed about it. Here's we have Pascal Siakam, who could make a legit argument, the best player on the Indiana Pacers, talking about the player who is perceived to be the best player on the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Haliburton, going down with the Achilles.
Yeah, it was tough. Well, obviously, just off the bat, just wishing him well. Just hope for the best. But I'm proud of that kid. He went through so much during the year. A lot of criticism. It's a lot, for a young kid to go through, and he had a lot of stress, a lot of And he just kept battling, man. He kept fighting every single day. He kept just working, and he did some incredible things like this whole playoff run and this year. I'm just super proud of him. Obviously, it hurts. It hurts because we couldn't get it done, and I wanted it so bad for him, and just because I know that he gave us everything, everything he had, and it just hurts that he he couldn't see it through with us.
That's a really sad post-game press conference from Pascal Siakam.
It is.
And then we have the College Baseball World Series coming to an end, which is, I think it's one of the all-time great, I call it parachute fan. Actually, shout out to Darren Vaught, USA Baseball, a friend of this show, I assume, friend of my show as well. The host of the ACC Baseball Etc. podcast. He gave me the term, because we were talking about the super regionals, and he said, baseball gets a lot of parachute fans. And he called them parachute fans, people that don't pay attention to the regular season. Mm-hmm. And then once the postseason gets started, they parachute in and suddenly have really strong opinions about their favorite teams.
Right.
And as he was saying it, I was going, yeah, those people, who does that?
Yeah, not me at all, no. Mm-mm.
But college baseball specifically is so good for parachute fans because it's so pure, right? It's America's pastime. They sit on top of the dugout and do hand claps and chants and
spitting out sunflower seeds.
Yeah, it's all there. So you get in and you're enjoying it. And there's things like Murray State. My favorite Murray State stat, right? Because Murray State made it to the Omaha, one of the last 8 teams remaining. Their coach actually was a finalist for the Duke opening. Didn't end up getting the job, but was an opening. Skirka is his last name. The 7 head coaches in Omaha, not Murray State, not Skirka from Murray State, their salaries ranged from $402,000 up to around $1.8 million. That's the spread of the 7 coaches not from Murray State in Omaha. Murray State's coach made $68,000.
Wow.
And they made it to Omaha. And their coach also cuts the grass. And their players also are the ones, when it starts raining, the players go pull the tarp out over the field. So Murray State it's great. It's Cinderella. It's Hoosiers, right? It's awesome. And then you get this final, which, although, make no mistake about it, Coastal Carolina, and they would fight you if you ever said they were a Murray State-level Cinderella. They've already won a national championship within the last 10 years. Very, very good baseball program. But they're going up against LSU, who is the big bad behemoth, right? They spend more money on baseball than they know what to do with. They're this massive deal, right? And after the game, all we're talking about is the umpire.
Mm-hmm.
After the game, all we're talking about is the ejected Coastal's coach in the first inning. Oh, you shouldn't even be able to do that. You should not even, it shouldn't even be a thing. Yeah, but also they were both in tough situations. Ump made some bad calls. Don't get me wrong. They weren't good.
One up falls over.
One of them tripped, which is embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, there are certain rules as far as arguing balls and strikes that the Coastal coaches decided didn't apply to them, which it appears like the world agrees should not have applied to them in that situation. But it got real sticky. Coaches got ejected. And now after the game, similarly, right? Rather than the conversation about LSU. They've won 2 of the last 3. Does their commitment to baseball give them some kind of an opportunity to have a really long and really extended form of dominance that maybe we haven't seen at that sport in a while? Do we have those conversations? Does the SEC get to brag, which I don't like, but to the winner goes the spoils. If you win, you get to brag. Does the ACC get to rub it in the ACC's face? Hey, remember when you were more excited to have 5 super regionals? Rub it in their face. No one's doing that. Because instead, LSU kind of has to get their championship and walk quietly to the side because everyone feels like in part it was weirdly given to them because of this Coastal situation. That's not how you want any of this. The story should be the Thunder won the championship, LSU won the championship. The story should be about the good. That's the way we all want it to be. But the story should be about Kane's moves, but they were all other teams' moves. Like this whole weekend, it had so much potential. And we ended up with a bunch of boring debates about the stuff that we don't like to talk about. I mean, how soon till robot umps hit the college baseball World Series?
Yeah.
Take it from AAA. Listen, I'm all for the technology conversations. I don't want to debate robot umps a day after they won the college baseball World Series.
All right.
We can do that next month. We can do that 2 months from now. Not now. Everybody's just sad or bummed or angry. It's not how you want to leave a sporting event.
No.
You know what's going to make everybody even more angry?
Well, it's sad.
When we come back here on the Adam Gold Show, we have to talk about the Florida Panthers party tour.
Oh, boy.
They're still going. They're somewhere right now, probably with a drink in their hand. Florida Panthers party tour and what it means for the Canes. Stick around.
From the heels
touchdown, Carolina,
to the Canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Duke's Cooper Flagg will go number 1.
Now Cooper across midcourt, takes it inside, and throws it down with 2 hands.
But where will the rest of his teammates land in the pros?
Knipples open, good again!
And don't forget Carolina's Drake Powell.
Powell hangs in the air, gets the bucket to go, and James is called for the foul.
The 2025 NBA Draft, Wednesday and Thursday night on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loan loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger, and you can get started now by saving when you join today. We have all the best-in-class equipment you could ever need, and you can work out your way on your time at any convenient location near you. Most open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Offer ends June 27th. Proud partner of the Carolina Hurricanes.
See Home Club for details.
Hey, it's Tim here for All-Star Dog Training. We all know Ripken, the legend, right? The best trained dog in the Triangle. You see him at Bulls games. You see him at state games grabbing the tee. What you may not know is Michael from All-Star Dog Training, the man behind the dog, has won awards like the Voters' Choice Award for Best Pet Training Service 8 years in a row, PBS Emmy Award, hundreds of 5-star reviews. Michael, what else have you done to garner this attention?
We try to help every dog in the Triangle. That's our goal, and I know Ripken will want every dog to be an all-star just like him. So that's why we came out with All-Star Dog Training.
All-Star Dog Training, it's a rebrand in honor of Ripken. What services do you offer?
At our 5,000 square foot facility in Apex, we offer private lessons, day train programs, puppy classes, and even board and trains. But always remember, we'll come to you too.
And it's the same training that not only helped Ripken be such a well-trained legend, but also his full-blooded brother, Champ, who's taken over?
Champ will be there this season for the Durham Bulls.
Same all-star team, new all-star name. Check them out at allstardogtraining.com.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's why.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly, by the way, filling in for Adam today. Victoria's still producing the show. By the way, if you're enjoying some of this conversation, we have plenty more of it on The Drive with Tim Donnelly every afternoon. We follow this show immediately, so this one's from noon to 3. We jump on the air from 3 to 6 every day. And we have some fun. We'd encourage you to join us if you don't already. If you're in the Triangle, then just stay on 99.9 The Fan. Hopefully you've given us a try before. But if you're elsewhere in the state, if you're listening from somewhere long and far away, please jump on our YouTube live stream, 99.9 The Fan. We have a streaming app. There's a bunch of different ways you can look for us. Just 99.9 The Fan. From 3 to 6, The Drive. We don't have Victoria on our show, but
I know, not yet.
But sometimes she's around.
Maybe. We should do some fight things.
There we go. Why was this weekend so good?
Well, because for me,
is
I was
that
just
a really
excited.
broad and difficult question to answer? Like, why was it good?
It was just fun because the card did start earlier, so I wasn't a complete zombie when I watched it. But it was. I mean, some people would say it's sort of boring because there weren't a lot of finishes on the prelim portion of the card. You know, some people just want the flashy stuff, but
you're a true scientist.
Oh, yeah. I love it all. I love it all. I love when they're like juking people out and doing fancy moves and didn't see this happening.
You're the baseball fan who's like, it's not all about home runs. The pitcher's duels, a 2-1 game is just as exciting.
Did you see him steal that base? Yeah.
Just as exciting. He's painting the corners with the off-speed stuff. The Adam Gold Show, and that's a little bit of fun because we're about to talk about something not fun, but it's not supposed to be fun. The Florida Panthers are in the middle of a pretty bananas Stanley Cup party tour.
Oh my gosh.
It's dramatic. I'm sure they're walking to a bar right now. It seems like
Oh yeah.
there are a billion people have caught them as if they're doing something wrong. Have seen them just in the wild as like a pack of Florida Panthers.
Yes.
Walking to bars in South Florida, and then they get there and they make a bunch of jokes. They're buying shirts off of people for a couple $100. Like if you make a funny shirt that taunts one of the teams they beat or is one of their nicknames or something like that, they'll just deal you out a couple $100 and you can get the shirt back.
Yep.
I hate it.
Me too.
I hate it with a passion. And that's good, okay? I'm into this stuff as a motivator, okay? I'm into this stuff as a motivator. It's cheesy and it's corny and it's probably overdone and some people try to be way too dramatic about it. But as motivation, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
It's the long-form equivalent of the player who loses the championship and then stands on the sideline and watches the confetti fall. So they have that image in their brain for when they're lifting that off season. Like, let the Panthers keep going nuts and make it infuriate you to do 2 more extra sprints. Like if you're the Carolina Hurricanes, that's who you're chasing. They won back-to-back cups. That's who you're chasing. So every time they say something that upsets you, something like this next clip we're going to play for you from Sam Bennett, who has a message for anyone who thinks the Panthers. This was from the whatever it's called, the parade, right?
Yes.
Okay, here's Sam
There's
Bennett.
A podium and everything.
From the parade about people who think the Panthers play dirty.
You know, a lot of people they don't like the way we play. They don't like, they call us dirty. They call us nasty. They call us bullies. So no, I would like to take this time to apologize to absolutely no one. We're the double champs. We do what the we want. Let's go.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear that just now,
I know.
but you have to make yourself sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
Put it in the Canes weight room on all of the TVs on loop.
Yeah. Well, the Oilers, it didn't help them completely, but they did use that as motivation from last season, Game 7.
Okay, but you also have to be a tough team.
And have a goalie.
There you go. You need things like that, right? And then on top of that, just for our perspective, right? So from a team perspective, if you are the Canes, I think you use that as motivation, right? I think you use that. I never want them to be able to do that again. I never want Sam Bennett to be able to say that again. And the only way you can stop that is by beating them. So you have to work extra hard. And matter of fact, already, right? They're obviously not, getting after it right now in the weight room. So everything you do is gaining on them, right? You're chasing them. But then from our perspective, from fans' perspective, from the outside, from the media, the best movies have the best villains, right? I'm not the biggest superhero like diehard. I never really got into the actual comic books, or I don't play the video games. But for a while there, I was at least catching the movies.
Yeah.
Before you had to watch, 2 seasons of every television show to understand the characters who were in the movies, I was watching the Marvel movies, or I was watching the Dark Knights and all of that. The best superhero movies are not the ones with the best superheroes. The best superhero movies are the ones with the best villains.
Mm-hmm. And they have multiple.
And some exactly. You need to feel like it's why there's a Superman movie coming out. Hopefully we haven't given away tickets or anything. It's why Superman movies are so tough, because there's really no enemy that feels like they can match up with him fairly, because it's Superman. He can do everything and anything better than everyone. In this case, the Florida Panthers are a wagon. It's Thanos. It's the Joker, right? It's a formidable, one step ahead of you villain that you have to legitimately watch the whole movie to figure out how you're going to beat. Do you hate that they called you out because some former players on your team, right? What was it? Marchand was doing the thank you to every team that let a player leave their roster and go to the Panthers, and he called out the Canes for a few of them. Do you hate that? Good.
He had a sticker, too, that was the Oilers logo, but it said losers, I think.
Yeah, the Oilers should be pretty upset with that one.
Yeah.
This is, and for actually, let me take a step back here. As a competitor, I think you have to allow it, right? I hate to say it because he said it so, but like they are the double back-to-back champions, and when you win, you get to win however you want. If you want to teach them how to win, if you want to win with more class, you got to win and then show them how to do it, right? Like that's the only way to do it. So, as much as it stinks, like once a week. Gotta re-expose yourself to it. And then how do you not hear that and not go straight to like yoga at least? Like something that's going to help you. How do you not go, you know what? Yeah, give me the extra protein shake. Like how do you not do something to help chase it down when you hear that? Knowing that they're not right now.
And it should be helpful, at least for the Canes, because like Adam always says, they play our style of hockey already, so we just have to get better at it.
Just need a couple more dudes.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my next point here. I don't know how often you guys have talked about it. I haven't gotten the chance to, so I'm going to. I love the Eric Robinson contract extension.
Yeah.
Another underrated great signing by the Carolina Hurricanes. Eric Robinson sticks around, ends up being 4 years, $1.7 million average annual value. It's this. The irony is, it's what you just said. The Florida Panthers, one, playing your style, but it was obvious you need a little bit more talent within that style in order to be one of the last team standing or the last team standing. Eric Robinson is not the super stud that is gonna match up with an Alexander Barkov or a McDavid or anything like that. But he's a great value, and you can't go broke making a profit. Right? If you can continue if every dollar you spend is bringing back $2 in value, you will be a great team. The Athletic after this season put out a list. They used net rating and dollars spent and found the best 5 contracts on every team, just pure how much rating did you get for each dollar they got. Eric Robinson was the 3rd best value on the team. 3rd best on the entire team. Gostisbehere was 1, Jarvis was 2, Eric Robinson was 3, and then tried and true, familiar people, little Stahl Martinook were 4 and 5 because they produced at a level that was above what their contract said. Now, he was making about $1 million this past year, produced 14 goals, 32 points, going up to 1.7. If you get just the same production, that continues to be great value. And here's the beauty in it as far as getting those studs that allow you to go win a cup. It's a win-win for player and team by giving each other the exact opposite thing. So Eric Robinson signing 4 years, $1.7 million gives the team all the flexibility in the world, and it gives the player all the stability they're looking for. It's quite literally the exact opposite. If the Canes had to play tomorrow, they have a complete roster.
Yeah.
They have every person accounted for, all 4 lines of forwards, three defensive pairings, and goalies. If they had to play tomorrow, they have a complete roster. So they are in absolute dire need of nothing. Right? How many teams right now, we'll use Dallas as an example, are out there and they're going like, well, they have 7 roster spots that are unaccounted for, and they have $5 million in cap space to fill it, and that just doesn't work out. So they have like absolute necessities. They have to make cap room, and they have to find cheap players. These are not hopes. These are not wishes. These are mandates. With Eric Robinson re-signing, the Canes have no mandates. They have no necessities. They have no requirements. What that means is whatever their super studs are available, that's where they can go. They don't have to their path is much wider as far as how they get to their, big names that raises the ceiling. For Robinson, it gives them stability. And what I mean by that is financial stability. This is a 4-year, $5.7 million deal. His career earnings over the first 7 years of his deal have been 7.1. So he's, adding another 40% or whatever that is, 40-something percent of his career earnings guaranteed over the next 4 years. While trades and everything are possible, you would think that there's some stability in life planning for him. So in giving the team the ability to do darn near anything, it gives him the ability to make some plans, right? The ability to put some money away or buy the house or whatever he's looking for, buy the bigger house, because now you've got a certain amount of money that is coming back. It was a true win-win, which doesn't actually happen that often in professional sports. Usually there's somebody trying to swindle somebody, and this looks like a true win-win, which leads me to my next point. What is your fantasy for the Carolina Hurricanes? What is your dream situation? And I ask that for this reason. My refrain, my chorus that I say every couple of days for the Carolina Hurricanes between now and July 1st, barring some kind of a massive trade before that, because July 1st is when free agency opens up, is everything is possible. Everything and anything is possible. And from talking with fans, from talking with listeners, from talking with people around the office, everybody has their own little idea on what the Canes should do. I've said from the beginning, I'm making a Godfather offer for Jason Robertson. That's just my personal dream, right? It's my personal, I don't know if Eric Tulsky's going to do it, but my personal dream is I'm making a Godfather offer for Jason Robertson in the trade market and finding a way in free agency or smaller trades to fill the center spot. I know that my producer on the afternoon show, The Drive, Dennis Cox, is all about Tage Thompson. He is all about Tage Thompson. Some of you out there are Mitch Marner or bust, because why not, right? He's on the free agency market. Everybody, he's the crown jewel of the free agency market. Some of you are we need a right-handed defenseman, and I don't care how much it costs. I want the blue line to continue to be the strength. Some of you want a goalie. Right there, been talking about a goalie for how long? Right? Which is that Victoria?
I think it would be helpful.
So do you have a name that is on your vision board?
No, that's the problem.
Okay.
They don't make a lot of those.
That is very true. But I've seen some saying Jeremy Swayman, make a Godfather offer, go get him. Like everybody has their own little personal deal, which is cool because for the first time in a long time, they're all possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever the Canes want to be the top bidder for in a trade, they can be. They have young players. They have young players with NHL experience. They have prospects. They have draft picks. They have the cap space to eat a contract if they have to. They can be. Now, that'll come at the cost of something else, but there is no dream scenario that you have that is not within the realm of possibility. And the same is true in free agency. They got roughly $27 million now after the Eric Robinson deal. They can, nobody's making $27 million average annual value. They can go be the lead bidder on anybody. So I thought it would be fun if I went ahead and did mine. This is if everything goes right. Every agent you call says, oh, thank goodness my client's interested. Every trade partner you call goes, all right, I think we can make this work. I'm not looking to swindle. I'm not looking to, my dream isn't I wake up and, you call up for McDavid and they go, oh, perfect. Do you have a third rounder you can send back? It's not that. I try to keep them all within the realm of possibility. But at the same time, it all works out, right? So it is still a fantasy. Starting with what I said, Jason Robertson. Okay, my first move with my $27 million in cap space is go get Jason Robertson. The price, I'm going 2 first-round picks, Scott Morrow, additional picks, I don't know, thirds, fourths, throw a bouquet at them, and probably a Carrier, something like that, because they just need cheap players that can play at the NHL level. Carrier, obviously cheaper, and Scott Morrow, dirt cheap. You get Jason Robertson back. Then I am throwing the bag at Mitch Marner. Because that move, Jason Robertson's not actually costing that much against the cap, and you save some money. So you're around $21.5, $22 million in cap space still. Taking $14 million of that, 7 by 14, give me Mitch Marner. This is where you got to get creative. I'm going Puce Suter from Vancouver, free agent center. I went on what is it, AFY, whatever it is, the analytics site that tells you how much a contract is market value. So this is not me making up the contract. This is a free agent that the analytics tell me are there. 4-year, $4.8 million. For what at the time will be your second-line center. You do need somebody to trade for Kokoniemi, but here's the deal. I'm going Kokoniemi and just give me something back as long as you take his full cap hit. I will take a 4th rounder as long as you take all $4.82 million off of our books. I don't want to buy him out. I don't want to eat $800,000 for however many years. I don't expect you to send back a legitimate prospect. Just give us something. I will give you Kokoniemi. We need the cap space. Brings cap space up to around $8 million. Then I'm signing Nick Perbix. I don't think he's been signed yet. I did this a couple days ago. A right-handed defenseman out of Tampa Bay. Again, the online people tell me 3 years, $2.5 million. So we're back down to like $5 million roughly in cap. And here's the secret sauce. I don't think Buffalo is selling this offseason. They might sell Peterka. They might sell one and think they're going to shuffle things up and go on a run, right? They haven't been to the postseason in a century, so they want to try to beat that. But I think by the deadline they will have stunk a bit, and they will realize that they probably should have sold in the offseason, and they'll get a little itchy on the trigger finger, and they'll be much more willing to talk. And that's where you go do whatever you got to do to trade for Tage Thompson. And you may have to include a player to get under the cap. Somebody small, $1 million, something like Robinson level. But you can give up the picks because you got a bunch of them. You can give up the players. Maybe this is where a Nadeau comes into play. And you bring back Tage Thompson. You find in the trade, or I don't know why, but I've been throwing this out there. You long-term IR somebody because apparently that's the cheat code to like not worrying about the cap.
It is.
I don't think you have to do that. They're going to be like $400,000 over, and if you can't find $400,000 somewhere, you trade for Tage Thompson. And here's what the playoff lines end up being. Okay, your first line is Aho, Robertson, Marner, which is a dramatic upgrade.
Yes.
Your second line is Thompson, Jarvis, Svechnikov, which is a dramatic upgrade. Third line remains kind of what I think is ideal. Stahl, Martinuk with Stankoven, which is great. And in a weird backhanded good part on that line, maybe his point production's a little bit lower. So when he's asking for that giant contract, it's a little bit less giant. Not that you would ever do that intentionally. And then Suter, who was your second line center, bumps down to your fourth line center. He has Blake on one side, depending on who you had to give up, either Carrier, Jankowski, Nadeau on the other side. You have Slavin Walker as your top line, or as your top defensive pairing, Nikishin, Chatfield, Gostisbehere, Perbix, Freddie and Kochekov in the net, with the understanding that the cap's going to go up another $9 or $10 million the following year, which is where you will hopefully put most of the Nikishin and Stankoven extensions. You can keep that group together for a nice period of time, and you go all out for the cup. I want to be clear on this. Everything I just said was really fun, really unlikely.
Right, unfortunately.
But the point is, it's possible.
Yeah.
So right now, like, this is the fun part of an offseason that most teams don't have every year, right? Most teams, it's like, all right, we got $10 million in cap space, but one of our best defensemen is a restricted free agent, or is an unrestricted free agent that we need to agree with before free agency. So really that $10 million in cap space is going to end up being $3.5, and we need to go find a second pairing defenseman. There goes the $3.5. The entire offseason which seemed exciting, is already spoken for. The Canes, I don't think people realize, made it to the Eastern Conference Final, being in what is like their secondary pieces. It's like they're a rebuilding team. It's like they're going out to draft a bunch of guys, sign a bunch of guys, and try to build from scratch, but they already have Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, Andrei Svechnikov, Jacob Slavin. They already have all these guys on long-term contracts. Not to mention the smaller long-term contracts for guys like Chatfield and Taylor Hall and guys that you just don't have to negotiate with now in the off-season. So right now, let your imagination run wild. This entire idea was sparked by I was on a podcast, and we just started talking. And it became a lot of – it was very obvious that the two of us kind of had different ideal finishes. Like if we all drew up what I just drew up, we would have been different. But the more we talked, the more it was – I mean, they could do both.
Yeah.
They have the money to do what you want to do and what I want to do.
I love this flexibility.
And it became maybe we're not thinking big enough, right? Because you'd think like, oh, you get Marner, which would take – actually a lot of the rumors coming out are he might take less years. It could be a 3-year deal rather than a 7-year deal. But it's going to take roughly $14 million a year to get him. It's almost like our brains are wired to think if you bring in somebody for $14 million, well, you're not doing anything else. That's got to be everything. But it's like, oh, well, no, actually, then you would still have $13 million in cap space, and you would still have a treasure trove of trade capital that if you wanted to spend, you could go add another big piece, which is why I'm big on the don't forget the center thing. Go do whatever you want with the flashy wingers. Go grab if you can find somebody that scores 40 goals a season, I'm with it. But also grab a center. Also grab somebody that's going to fill that hole because right now it's fun times. It's fun times. Before July 1st, go as crazy as you want. Second Seinfeld reference. I've been using this as a way to say it. The Seinfeld finale was like an all-time disappointment. People hated it. So there you go. Spoiler alert
Worse
for
than
like
the
10
Sopranos?
years from now. Actually, I'll go similar. Sopranos is a similar deal. But the second to last episode, nobody had a problem with, right? The third to last episode, everybody liked. Fourth to last episode, nobody was complaining about.
Mm-hmm.
But the finales, we all write in our brain.
Yes.
Right? Oh, I hope these two get together and they end up married. And I hope that guy in The Sopranos, that guy gets whacked. In Seinfeld, I hope this character makes a return, right? I hope Newman's in it. And I hope there's soup involved. And I hope the ruffled shirt comes back, right? You do all of this hoping. So then when it doesn't happen exactly your way, you get real bummed about it. But the fun of the finale is the conversation ahead of time where you are planning out your perfect finale. Whatever you want is not going to happen. Not everything. Maybe one part of it. But whatever you want for the Canes free agency is not going to happen exactly. What I just said is not going to happen exactly. But maybe one thing will, and I will have had a really good time putting that together. If you made me pick, I hope it's Robertson. The Adam Gold Show, if you made me pick.
Right.
Like, oh, you got one part right. Which part did I get? Nick Perbix.
Hopefully that one. Yeah, exactly. No.
Never mind. We have the 7th inning stretch coming up, and we'll be placing some bets here on the Adam Gold Show. Stick around.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're talking about a major collaboration that's making waves in Iredell County. Kim Holland, Development Coordinator for the Iredell Health Foundation, tells us about Whole 3.
The goal of the collaborative is about addressing the complex and interwoven challenges that many families in Iredell County face. And, things like poverty, lack of access to health care, and educational disparities. So it's designed as truly a collaborative. It's community-led initiative. We're bringing together schools, nonprofits, health systems, and families to build a system that actually works for families, not just around them.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
My name is Gregory, and I am the primary caregiver for our 5 grandchildren. We have worked to be a source of love and stability in their lives, and Medicaid has been a source of stability for us. Medicaid helped with all the visits to the doctor, pharmacy, dentist, orthodontist, mental health therapist, and it has helped our grandchildren grow healthy and strong. Our grandkids call me Papa or Pop Pop, and I'm speaking up to protect NC Medicaid.
Learn more at ncchild.org/speakup. That's ncchild.org/speakup.
Healthcare? Why?
Why is it so hard?
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Really?
Really. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting all your benefits, prescriptions, and details on your computer and phone. Convinced?
No, but it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina, making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
As public power customers, we experience fewer outages and faster restoration than customers of other electric providers. But the benefits of having a locally owned electric system go far beyond unbeaten reliability. Our local public power employees support our community, providing electric hookups for events, installing and maintaining ballpark lights, holiday lights, traffic lights, street lights, and more. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
We had to exit the home pretty quickly because of how quickly the water came in. It was just really vital to me whenever all the public service announcements were going out, that we needed to get our water tested.
We need to, get in the field and start helping people disinfect their water supplies.
It's really critical to their health to be able to have that safe drinking water.
They were reaching out to me to make sure that I knew that there were resources available.
NC Public Health, everywhere, every day, everyone.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show. Today, hosted by me, Tim Donnelly. But Adam will be back, I believe, next week, and certain parts of the show will remain darn near identical. One of them, the 7th inning stretch.
Okay, so kicking things off today. It's really hot outside, so I felt that this article was appropriate because the National Weather Service has put out an advisory warning people that are in these hot areas, like here, to avoid certain things, including, quote, heavy foods or meals that are high in protein, because that can raise your body temperature. So... X-nay that, apparently. Also...
You know it's hot when they're like, hey, a steak could do you in.
Right, yeah. Go light on the chicken.
It's not even like... They're past the point of, don't do yard work for more than a cup. They're to, like, chewing protein might...
Yeah.
That could be the last thing you ever taste.
Eat a bunch of salad. Like, yeah. So there's
something
that.
Refreshing.
This kind of feels... like obvious, but they also say to avoid things like alcohol, but then they threw in coffee and they included iced coffee. So that doesn't even help you if it's iced coffee, because those drinks can speed up your dehydration. So they just want you to drink a bunch of water and or sports drinks to, do that. And of course they say protect your skin with the sunscreen and avoid the middle part of the day. But honestly, it's hot all day. So good luck with that.
There are, first of all, I am batting 1,000 on the last 5 times I've done yard work that I've cramped up in the middle of the night that night. So I guess I'm one to pass out advice and then also not listen to it.
Right.
But I do think we have to speak specifically to maybe a little bit a group of younger people because Graham Hill, who I'm sure occasionally fills in on this show, producing, occasionally fills in on my show in afternoons. He produces Next Up with Paul Ihander, which airs every morning 9 to 10, every weekday morning 9 to 10 on 99.9 The Fan in the Triangle. He goes to the beach a lot of weekends. Every weekend, the kid was coming back with a sunburn. So he went to the beach this weekend, and literally before he left, hey, is there anything you need me to do before I go? Yeah, you need to wear sunscreen. I felt like I was his grandpa or something.
Yeah.
Sunscreen.
SPF.
Everywhere. Sunscreen.
Don't forget it.
But again, me in my 20s was probably the same way. I would have had to sunscreen because you get excited. You're doing things. You're at the beach. Got a drink in your hand. So yeah, sunscreen.
Right.
Hydrate.
Exactly.
If we say it like that, maybe someone will listen.
Maybe it'll stick. Well, speaking of hydrating, but this is what we're not advising to do. There's a bar in China that's doing something very interesting. So this was supposed to be a fun idea, which I guess it can be, but they are kind of using beer as the stock market, sort of. So what they're doing is they're fluctuating the prices of beer depending on the more popular and less popular. So if it's more popular, then it costs more, and it rises and decreases depending on, I guess, their levels and what's more popular.
I've seen this.
Have you?
I have. It's kind of fascinating because, we'll call it Gold Light because it's the Adam Gold Show. If you are a Gold Light fan and you're sitting around and you're going to be there, say, Adam Gold Show, watching a soccer game, right? And it's a long game, and you're going to be drinking 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 9, 10. I don't know how many beers you're going to be drinking.
Right.
And you see Gold Light dips in price because no one's ordering it. You might call over the waiter and say, I'll take 9.
Right.
and get them all. And then because you do that, that price is going to go up. And the price of some other beer might go down a little bit. And so you do feel like you're timing it, and you get real bummed out. There was one of these in Nebraska.
Is there?
It was like a pop-up, I think.
Oh.
But you get bummed out when you buy, and then the price goes down.
Yeah.
If you buy and you didn't time the buy perfectly, you're like, oh, if I would have waited another
just 5 minutes,
15 minutes, I could have got that beer for $2.12 cheaper. It makes it weirdly fun. It's like those day trader apps that people have, and you're flipping through it. It becomes weirdly fun.
I thought that was really interesting because this article was saying that prices can only fluctuate on a daily basis by 10%, but on a weekly basis, it could happen about 20%. So
it's not as immediate as the version that I've seen.
Yep. So, and they say they've got a whole circular display in the middle of the bar. They've got the raising beer prices in red, the falling ones in blue. So yeah, I think that's
only being able to change once a day is. I feel like that's going to hurt them.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, they can change multiple times during the day, but only by 10%. So it won't be a huge difference, but it can fluctuate. So
if there was ever a day where a popular beer was real cheap,
I know
they'd be in trouble.
I know exactly. Well, and last but not least, something that might be cheap, and I know it's Monday, so this might help you get to Friday, or Friday as I like to call it, Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't know if you're a fan of them, but they're now. B-Dubs 3 is now launching an all-you-can-eat appetizer promotion starting at $9.99, and you can get a bunch of appetizers.
All you can eat?
All you can eat, and it includes the ones everyone likes, the fried pickles, mozzarella sticks, all that stuff. Starting this Friday, you can now eat your face off with fried appetizers.
All you can eat always seemed like a challenge.
A challenge.
It's not all you want to eat or all you may eat. All you can eat.
Right. Like when Red Lobster used to do all you can eat crab legs. To me, I'm like, that's a no-brainer. I could eat 8,000 bajillion of them.
all you can eat, I can do some damage. If it's all you'd like like to eat at this setting, it's like, all right, you probably,
Yeah.
I'll be close, but
I know.
all you can eat, we're battening down the hatches.
So people go challenge yourself this Friday because it's all you can eat. You know what else we can challenge ourselves with?
What's that?
Making a good bed.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, you lead the way here. When do you need bets from me? I got 3 of them, and I'm ready to roll.
Oh, nice. Well, my last one, and I actually put real money on it.
Hey.
My fight on Friday that happened on Saturday. Khalil Roundtree by the points plus 800. Let's go. I was so excited. However, I did not win my Cubby anytime home run bet yesterday. So today, we're shaking things up. They're done. They're starting a new series with the Cardinals. They're in St. Louis. So give me the Cubs to beat the Cardinals. Bounce back over 9. That's plus 215.
All right, there's the theme for mine.
Oh, nice.
We're swinging for the fences.
Okay.
Aaron Judge, 2 or more home runs versus Cincinnati tonight. He hasn't had he's had 1 home run in the last 9 games total. So, I mean, he's due, right? He's Aaron Judge.
Sure.
Also, Nick Lodolo, who's pitching for the Reds, gives up home runs a little bit above average clip, 32nd most per inning, or per batter, I should say, per batter faced in the league. It's plus 1,000, so turn my 10 into 110.
Yeah, I like that one. Well, and I also like when this happens because I'm a Cubby fan. That means I don't like the White Sox, and they are taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks today. So give me the Diamondbacks to win, and let's take over 9. Hopefully they get all of them, plus 160.
Well, you used your fandom there a little bit. This is my fandom. I am a Mets fan. It's not a requirement if you fill in for Adam that you also have to be a Mets fan.
Yeah.
It just so happens to work out. But if I pick Aaron Judge to home run, I have to pick Pete Alonso. It's like it's a fair thing there. So a home run from the Polar Bear versus Atlanta tonight, plus 360. So looking forward to that one.
Nice. Polar Bear Pete. Last up, the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to be in Milwaukee taking on the Brewers. I feel like the Brewers are going to win this one, and I'll go with it over 8.5. Why not take the over on these? Plus 180.
Cal Raleigh, Major League Baseball home run leader in home runs. He's up against the Twins. Bailey Ober on the mound. He gives up one of the highest rates of home runs per batter faced. So this is my safe bet. Anytime home run from Cal Raleigh for the Twins, versus the Twins for the Mariners. Plus 180 is what that is coming in at, and I expect Raleigh to make it happen.
I like that one.
If you parlay all 3, it's plus 14,068. If you really want to swing for the fences. If you really want to swing for the fences, turn $10 into 1,400. Stick around. We have more of the Adam Gold Show. Wall of Sound next.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but it doesn't mean me and my co-host, WREL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp approaches, insights on the rookies, the free agents, and the surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
A pepperoni pizza for the table. May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time.
Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Handy Hugo's has a refreshing deal. 2 1-liter Pepsis for just $3. Quench your thirst at Handy Hugo's today.
Are you in charge of running the building maintenance plays at your workplace? If you're facing roofing issues, you gotta get RoofWorks into the game. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. You can count on us to be your MVP when it comes to taking care of your commercial building roof. We handle leaky roof repair, coatings, total replacements, upfits, and we even do commercial gutters. Let us show you what a valuable addition we are to your building maintenance team. Contact us today online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Back-to-back New York Mets home runs. Juan Soto with a laser beam long ball out to right field. The triumvirate of Lindor, Nimmo, and Soto with 3 straight solo shots. And New York retakes the lead. This is clobbered left field. The Mets have hit 7 home runs tonight. And Francisco Alvarez gets in on the party with his 3rd of the year. 11-4 New York here in the 9th inning.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
You are listening to The Adam Gold Show. And that was the onslaught of home runs from the New York Mets. It was due, by the way. Juan Soto has been the unluckiest hitter in baseball. Just laser beams all over the field directly at fielders. It'll all work out. He'll be fine.
Everything will be okay.
That's what Met fans have been telling ourselves for decades and decades. It'll all be all right. I'm Tim Donnelly filling in for Adam Gold today. And it is time for the Wall of Sound. Got started with some great sound there.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right. What do we have lined up first, Victoria?
Okay, so first up for today, as we've talked about, LSU beat Coastal Carolina. There were some hiccups during this game. So this audio, the head coach of Coastal Carolina, Kevin Chanel, he was explaining why he was ejected. And let's see if you agree with his assessment.
25,000 people there, and I vaguely hear a warning issued. As the head coach, I was an assistant for 24 years, and as an assistant, you're almost treated like a second level citizen, and you can't say a word. Now, as a head coach, I think it is your right to get an explanation of why we got warned. and I'm 48 years old, I shouldn't get shooed by another grown man, right? So when I come out to ask what the warning is, a grown man shooed me. So at that point, I can now hear him say, it was a warning issued for arguing balls and strikes. And at that point, I said, because you missed 3. At that point, ejected. If that warrants an ejection, I'm the first one to stand here like a man and apologize.
Is that an apology?
Yeah.
Is it, though? Because by letter of the law, even if he misheard the first warning,
right,
by letter of the law, what he just did does qualify for a ejection. The rule is, and I didn't know this, and I understand that baseball people, I guess, believe you should be allowed to get your money's worth in a big game and be okay with it. The letter of the law is, if you argue balls and strikes, you get a warning. That if your head coach argues balls and strikes, you get a warning. And then if you do any arguing for balls and strikes after that warning, you get ejected. So he just said, I heard the ump say, you've been warned for balls and strikes. And then he said, you've missed 3 of them. If that warrants an ejection, it's like, well that's... You can say that, you wish the ump gave you more leeway. You wish the ump read the room. A lot of baseball people have been saying that, and I'm not going to argue with them. I'm just saying, yeah, it does warrant it. Like, there's not an if there. There's not, right? It's I smacked him on his arm as he was shooting a free throw or shooting a jump shot. If that warrants a foul, then fine, I'll issue an apology. It's like, no, literally, that just letter of the law, it's a foul. Spirit of the rule, maybe it's not, but and also, can you miss me with the I'm a grown man, you're not going to shoe me? Like, the ump is a grown man. You were running out there to yell at him. I'm not letting a grown man yell at me, like, if in any normal situation, right?
With the veins coming out in his neck.
If we're just in like the grocery store and a grown man starts yelling at me, trust me, it's not the shooing where it became disrespectful. The thing is, in a baseball situation, you yelling at him is kind of normal, and him being disrespectful back is kind of normal. Earl Weaver used to kick dirt on people. That's disrespectful. It's also Earl Weaver. Like, you're a grown man. You're wearing a baseball uniform. You don't play. Mm-hmm. What do you think? It's like if an injury happens, you're going to go out there and play third base. Why do you have a baseball hat on? Mm-hmm. You don't see John Shire, Hubert Davis wearing jerseys. They're not in basketball shorts. Like, hey, just in case, you already look ridiculous. Grown man's not going to shoo me. Well, you're just like a kid, so he shooed you.
Yeah.
I don't know. By the way, he was so good earlier on in the tournament, talking about how Florida's coach was acting like a fool, and called them out by name and defended his facilities people. Now it's like, wait, I got to take back all those compliments because you're a little high and mighty as well.
Here's a Snickers. See, if you were at the grocery store, you could just give him a Snickers.
That'd be disrespectful. He'd be mad. No grown man's going to give me a Snickers.
Yeah. Well, the other sporting event that happened this weekend that was kind of dampered on some things was obviously the NBA Finals. But Tim Bontemps, an ESPN NBA reporter, thinks that this was the best NBA playoffs since 2016. So let's listen.
I mean, it's been an incredible postseason. I mean, the only one that I think surpasses it during my time covering the league is 2016 for all of the things that went on during that run with the way the Cavs came back and beat the Warriors. Obviously, the incredible Warriors-Thunder series. Tim Duncan's last series, his final game was played here in Oklahoma City. I was at that game. That was just an incredible playoff. But when you factor in, like you said, all the crazy comebacks that took place, and the Knicks breaking through again, the Pacers getting back to the finals, the Thunder winning their first title, just all the great games. You had the Aaron Gordon game winner against the Clippers back in the first round. I mean, it's just been a incredible and exciting playoffs from start to finish, and this series certainly backed all that up.
Yeah.
I do believe this is the first postseason that Tim Bontemps has worked for ESPN. Am I making that up? Maybe not. I know he's with the Washington Post for a long time. It's impossible for this playoffs to be that good. And it's nothing to do with the like, this isn't a knock on the teams that made it. Sports are storytelling, right? They're narratives. And right now we're in a transition. There was no LeBron, there was no Steph, there was no KD, there was no James Harden, there was no Russell Westbrook. Like, we're talking in the Eastern or Western Conference Finals. They're new, so we just got to get to know them, right? It happened in the NFL when Brady and Peyton and Breeze and all these guys suddenly were gone. Now, after a couple years of whoa, we have Mahomes and we have Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and we have these new groups. So now, once again, it's back to being great. This is like it's like a reboot. The first movie of the reboot's never the best. You got to get to know them. You need characters to be developed. So, if we get 2 years from now, Haliburton back in this situation after he recovers, now we can have a great postseason because it's this triumphant return. If SGA continues building and becomes an all-time great, now he's the Goliath, and these other are going to try to fight back. Like, there's storylines that can happen, but this one was all about just introductions. Hey, nice to meet you. Shake your hand. That's not going to be better than, Goliath battles with legends that we've known for 15, 20 years. It's just it couldn't be as good, but it was good. There was entertainment. There were a lot of game winners and stuff.
Yeah. Well, still staying with NBA. Along those lines, we all know Stephen A. loves to make hot takes. So
Stephen A.
He is looking to the future, though, in regards to Oklahoma. And he believes it could be a start of a dynasty.
Shai Gilgeous is something special. We got to look at him and understand 26 years of age. They're a relatively young team. They're not going anywhere. Not with the trick, not with the draft picks and everything that Sam Presti has got here. You can make this team better. And oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, as great as he is, Shai Gilgeous can get better because the three-pointer ain't automatic yet. What is going to happen when that happens? Lord have mercy. I mean, it's scary what this team could be because of him.
I'm not going to disagree with anything he's saying about OKC, but I'm also not going to discredit or downgrade other teams that are chasing OKC. If and or when Jason Tatum gets healthy, if he's the same player, the Celtics, I mean, they've got a title too. There are a few other teams out there with a lot of draft capital, some good young players. If the Timberwolves ever put it together, if the Knicks ever get whatever the Knicks, whoever their next coach is. Like, there are teams that are out there that can get better. So OKC is the standard now. Could they be a dynasty? Time will tell. I think there's a definite possibility there for everything he just said. However, I think there are some smart minds, some good teams that are set up very well chasing them, and that could be a wrench in the system. We've seen teams we've gotten really excited about teams, and it's not gotten there. OKC has done it once. Remember when they had Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant and James Harden and Serge Ibaka and all these guys, and everybody was real excited. They never even got there first. They did make it to a finals, but never got back. So crazier things have happened, but I do think this team is a very good one. And that'll do it for the Wall of Sound here on the Adam Gold Show. When we return, somebody finally named names. I don't know if that makes Wisconsin a snitch. I don't know if snitches get you-know-whats. But somebody in college sports finally named names in the tampering world. We could have a monumental lawsuit on our hands. Stick around.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Duke's Cooper Flagg will go number one.
Now Cooper across the court, takes it inside, and throws it down with two hands.
But where will the rest of his teammates land in the pros?
Knipples open, good again!
And don't forget Carolina's Drake Powell.
Powell hangs in the air, gets the bucket to go, and James is called for the foul.
The 2025 NBA Draft, Wednesday and Thursday night on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, it's Tim here for All-Star Dog Training. We all know Ripken, the legend, right? The best trained dog in the Triangle. You see him at Bulls games, you see him at state games grabbing the tee. What you may not know is Michael from All-Star Dog Training, the man behind the dog, has won awards like the Voters' Choice Award for Best Pet Training Service 8 years in a row, PBS Emmy Award, hundreds of 5-star reviews. Michael, what else have you done to garner this attention?
We try to help every dog in the Triangle. That's our goal, and I know Ripken will want every dog to be an all-star just like him. So that's why we came out with All-Star Dog Training. All-Star Dog Training, it's a rebrand in honor of Ripken. What services do you offer? At our 5,000 square foot facility in Apex, we offer private lessons, day train programs, puppy classes, and even board and trains. But always remember, we'll come to you too. And it's the same training that not only helped Ripken be such a well-trained legend, but also his full-blooded brother, Champ, who's taken over? Champ will be there this season for the Durham Bulls. Same all-star team, new all-star name. Check them out at allstardogtraining.com.
Do you have a wedding anniversary coming up? Don't just mark the day. Make it unforgettable with Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Shop their exquisite selection of designer jewelry or consider upgrading your original engagement ring with the diamond she really deserves. Whether this is the 1st or 31st anniversary, celebrate your love with something special, wrapped in a black and white striped box from Bailey's. Voted best jeweler from the Triangle to the coast. Every woman wants a Bailey box. Visit us today in store or at baileybox.com.
Discover a new role with the Wake County Public School System. We're hiring special education instructional assistants and bus drivers, and we need dedicated individuals to help transport kids and provide instruction to eager students. You'll love our recently increased salaries and comprehensive benefits, including retirement, and will enjoy a welcoming, positive culture that will motivate you every day. Apply now at careers.wcpss.net and discover a place where anything is possible.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
This is what WRAL weather coverage sounds like.
Thunderstorm warning right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
When your safety is a priority.
An indication that there is a tornado on the ground, so get in your safe spot
in this area, get in your safe spot right now.
With the tools that make a difference.
WRAL Storm Tracker is inside the storm.
WRAL has the only dual Doppler radar in Wake County.
Hear it and see it every day.
It looks like the storm is doing exactly what we predicted to do.
That's WRAL News. Weather coverage you can count on.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers and thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
HIV is not a crime, or it shouldn't be.
It's time for the laws to catch up to science.
Join the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation to modernize outdated HIV criminalization laws. Go to etaf.org. Campaign funded through the support of Gilead Sciences Incorporated.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show. I do. During one of the commercial breaks, Victoria said, like, what vibe is your music? Since I, Tim Donnelly, am filling in for Adam Gold today.
Yeah.
I said anything from 2002 to like 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Came with Overnight Celebrity. Banger.
Right?
Could not have placed it further into the target zone there.
Oh,
so
yeah.
well played on your part.
Thank you.
If that doesn't put a smile on your face coming out of break, I don't know what does. The Adam Gold Show here. By the way, check us out on YouTube. 99.9 The Fan is the channel on YouTube. If you're looking for Adam, there's all of the Canes Corner stuff. There's clips from this show, but there's so much more. There's content for all the teams you care about here in the state of North Carolina, the Carolina Panthers, the real Panthers. colleges in the area. It's all there. 99.9 The Fan. Search for it on YouTube. Subscribe while you're there. We'd greatly appreciate it. I have to give a hat tip to Wisconsin.
Not just because of the cheese?
I mean, if they want to send some.
Yeah.
If we got anyone from Wisconsin watching right now, hey.
Won't turn it down.
I was going to say, we accept.
Kurtz.
I don't know if we would accept just random cheese in the mail. I don't know if that's a thing.
I mean, is it vacuum
But if
sealed?
it comes, some kind of, if it looks legit, I think we could find some crackers. No, we're talking like Badgers. We're talking like college football, Wisconsin. They have filed a lawsuit against Miami, like the U. They're finally naming names in a tampering allegation in college sports. One of my most frustrating things over the past however many years is that teams love to complain about tampering, but they've never been ready or willing to throw a name on it. This is going back at least a year, may have been 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. Jim Mora Jr. of UConn, their head coach, complained that schools were reaching out to their players in the transfer portal, that weren't in the transfer portal, and promising them money and promising them things if they were to transfer. And he said, I have proof. And I went, good, let's see the proof. You got it, bring it out, Exhibit A. And it just never came, right? It was like an angry tweet that he sent out, like, and I have proof, I can show you the text messages. And then it happened, never mind, I don't want to. And then just recently, right here, and again, speaking of state of North Carolina, ECU head baseball coach Cliff Godwin a handful of weeks ago, I think it was since the postseason started, so it's really actually within the last month, tweeted out, our system is so broken. And he put broken in all caps. It's just so broken. We have coaches at P4 schools texting our players directly who are not in the portal, ! And we have proof, ! And I went, good. Name names. Let us see the proof. You have the proof. Just screenshot, tweet. It's right there at your disposal. Let's go. And I'm just picking those two examples because they were the ones that came off the top of my head. There were so many examples, but here's the deal. There's a saying about glass houses, right? You don't want to throw stones if you live in a glass house. And everybody is worried that, one of their assistant coaches one time sent a tweet or sent a text or sent a DM or made a call and your glass house falls apart, right? Now I'm accusing somebody else. They find out you, and now we're all going down with the ship. So if you're going to be the one that names names, you have to be pretty confident you live in a squeaky clean house. Like you've never done anything wrong. And until somebody was willing to take that chance, tampering was never going to be taken care of. The University of Wisconsin filed a lawsuit Friday claiming that the Miami football team broke the law by tampering with a Wisconsin player, a first-of-its-kind legal attempt to enforce the terms of a financial contract between a football player and his school. This is all from ESPN, by the way. The lawsuit refers to the athlete in question as student-athlete A, but details from the complaint line up with the offseason transfer of freshman defensive back Xavier Lucas. I'm just going to throw this out there. Probably not a lot of guys going from Wisconsin to Miami. I don't think it takes a lot of sleuth work to figure out who it ends up being, but there you go. Now, here's the deal. If this leads to punishment from Miami, there will be a weird amount of fans looking for everything that the Wisconsin coaching staff has ever done wrong, so they better be ready for that scrutiny. Part of me is proud that the Big Ten is complaining about an ACC school pushing the envelope, because I'm sitting here going wait a minute, you're worried about us?
Right.
Let's go ACC. Got them on their heels. Yeah. Part of me is proud that Wisconsin put a name on it, because the only way that tampering stops is with legitimate repercussions for doing it, which I think is important, because my whole thing on the transfer portal, by the way, I'm pro transfer portal. I used to, in a previous life, just on a show that I used to do, call myself the lead activist for players' rights. I wanted players to get paid. I wanted players to be able to transfer. I wanted players to have all the rights that they've pretty much gotten. And the reason being, I wanted to put the responsibility back on the schools, back on the teams. If you want players to stay, you have to make their existence on your campus worthwhile. Okay? So if you want a player to, which is completely legal, and we're seeing it happen, if you want a player to turn down more money elsewhere to stay and play at your team, to play with your team, to play on your campus, you have to provide them some kind of value that they see as more valuable than the money, right? It's the same thing as like non-competes in business. If I were running a business, and I'm not an entrepreneur, so this is coming from a very naive standpoint, I wouldn't have a non-compete contract that I'd make all my people sign. Again, very naive. You might be chuckling at me if you own a business. But the reason being is I want people to want to work for me. And if I don't have that handcuff that I handcuff you to my business, then I have to make it worth your while, right? I have to make it worth your time to work for me. So if that's the case, you don't put your name in the transfer portal. And that is important to me. If you don't put your name in the transfer portal, no one should reach out to you because you're happy. And the school has worked hard to make you feel that way. They've built a culture where the assistant coaches and head coaches are working on your development. They've built a culture where you enjoy the things you do on a day-to-day. You feel like you're getting better. You feel like you're developing as a player and a person. If I don't put my name in the transfer portal, you shouldn't be allowed to reach out to me because the school is doing their end of the bargain. The issue becomes when you don't put your name in the transfer portal and they're still reaching you with, how about $1.2 million? How about $1.3 million? How about $1.3 million and I'll put your dad as an assistant? How about $1.3 million? I put your dad as an assistant and we'll give you a car and an apartment. How about, and I'm going, that's not fair because the first school was doing everything they should have done. So tampering needs to stop, and it won't until there's real repercussions. Wisconsin's calling out Miami. If they can prove that Miami was tampering, as much as I am, go ACC, let's go. I'm all about the Atlantic Coast Conference. I want it to be strong. I think it's good for sports and athletics in general in our region when the ACC is strong. I want the ACC strong. If you get caught, face the penalty. Now, here's my last point on this. Punish the coach, punish the front office executive, punish the head coach, punish whoever knew about it. Don't punish the team, don't punish the player. Unless you're giving extra eligibility. This is speaking from a former college athlete, right? I played football at the University of Delaware, and as to sound like the old guy with all the wisdom that didn't have it when they were younger. Eligibility is really finite. Really finite. And it always struck me as like gross when a coach made a mistake and they took scholarships away or they postseason bans from players, and then players lose 1/4 of their eligibility for a mistake a coach made, and they don't get to just like, oh, we'll try again next year. Like some of them, that was their last year. So the punishment, I believe, has to be directed towards the people that made the mistake, not like Miami, which you may think is messed up because Miami's benefiting from it. Yeah, but the other 60 people on Miami, or however many are on a roster now, 84 scholarship players other than Xavier Lucas, had nothing to do with this. So unless you're going to give them all an extra year of eligibility, which would open up a whole other can of worms, I don't think you should be able to ruin their 1/4 of the years they get to play, or 1/4 and a half if you include the 4-year redshirt rule or 4-game redshirt rule. So it's a great step in the right direction by Wisconsin. Now you need the investigators and the courts to play out, and you need to make it a stern enough penalty that others don't do it. To me, once you put your name in the portal, go nuts. Fair game. If you don't put your name in the portal, you shouldn't have to deal with any of that.
Yeah, makes sense.
And if you get caught doing it, and what's the price of getting caught is punishment. Do I sound like the dad of a 4-year-old? Hey, once you get just don't lie. Once you get caught, that's where the bad. No, I'm kidding.
Told you don't touch the hot stove.
We're not quite there yet, but I do not look forward to those days. This is the Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly, sitting in for Adam today, and we're having a good time. When we return, we get to rewind it. We get to run through a whole bunch of stuff. There's still plenty to get to here on the Adam Gold Show. Don't go anywhere.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy. You're family.
With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're talking about a major collaboration that's making waves in Iredell County. Kim Holland, Development Coordinator for the Iredell Health Foundation, tells us about Whole 3.
The goal of the collaborative is about addressing the complex and interwoven challenges that many families in Iredell County face. And, things like poverty, lack of access to health care, and educational disparities. So it's designed as truly a collaborative. It's community-led initiative. We're bringing together schools, nonprofits, health systems, and families to build a system that actually works for families, not just around them.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
My name is Stacy. I'm the proud mother of 2 daughters who were born prematurely. Our daughter Emma weighed less than 2 pounds when she was born, and today she's 100% prescription formula fed. It costs over $125 a day. Private insurance does not cover her formula, but Medicaid does. And I couldn't imagine the choices we'd have to make without it. My name is Stacy, and I'm speaking up to protect NC Medicaid.
Learn more at ncchild.org/speakup. That's ncchild.org/speakup.
Healthcare? Why?
Why is it so hard?
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Really?
Really. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting all your benefits, prescriptions, and details on your computer and phone. Convinced?
No, but it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina, making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
As public power customers, we experience fewer outages and faster restoration than customers of other electric providers. But the benefits of having a locally owned electric system go far beyond unbeaten reliability. Our local public power employees support our community, providing electric hookups for events, installing and maintaining ballpark lights, holiday lights, traffic lights, street lights, and more. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
One Adam.
Gold.
One Adam.
Gold.
Is he married to a person or just himself? Because I feel like that's very Aaron Rodgery of him to have the twist in there.
It's a very good question.
So, I don't know. We still don't know if it's a person.
Would he get down on one knee to ask himself over an ayahuasca?
Yes.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show rolls along on a Monday. I'm Tim Donnelly, filling in for Adam today. Victoria producing the show, as always. Before we jump into what I think will be some really fun conversations, this must be like a settling of the college basketball schedule, weekend where teams are I don't know if they're resigning to like, all right, fine, can't find anybody better. But there's been some interesting news popping out of a couple teams across the state of North Carolina. We'll start with Wake Forest. Wake Forest announced earlier today that they will have a home-and-home with Vanderbilt. So December 21st in Winston-Salem at the Joel, they will have a game against Vanderbilt. And then in 2026, obviously the exact date not specific, they'll be visiting Vanderbilt. I suggest you make this a game for the colors gold and black, and like whoever wins this year can't wear it next year when they play each other. Or, I don't know. That's going to be so confusing.
Yes.
I don't like it when teams with the same colors play each other.
I
Just throwing
know.
that out there.
It is very
gets confusing.
like when the Canes play the Blackhawks.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, along those lines, all year, right? I mentioned I have a 4.5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
All year, we've had a lot of success actually, turning my 4.5-year-old into a Canes fan.
Nice.
All year, the red and black team.
Mm-hmm.
The red and black team. That's our team. Which team are we? The red and black team. Then when they play a team like the Devils in the postseason,
yeah,
real confusing conversations coming. It's for like 2 weeks. It's like, no, this, but now, okay, I get what,
Dad.
I get what you're saying here. Yes, everything I've said up to this point feels like a lie, but no, just this red and black team is our favorite.
That's why
team.
you don't go to those games.
Yeah, just watching them on, it was a whole thing. But anyway, so Wake Forest, Vanderbilt, ACC, SEC battle there. I like it for Wake. Opportunity to get a couple of Power 5 non-conference wins. NC State, and Ole Miss, again, ACC, SEC, finalizing an agreement to start a 2-year, they call it a neutral series, but it's not exactly neutral. They're going to play one of the games this year, December 21st, in Greensboro. Then there will be a game next year on a different neutral site, I assume somewhere closer to Ole Miss. So it's like neutral, but acknowledging that Greensboro ain't neutral when one of the teams is NC State and one of the teams is from Mississippi. So it'll be like neutral and neutral, home and away. So that's happening. And then Duke, in true the Duke wording, they're calling it a Brotherhood run because they are playing November 21st. It looks like they will be facing, let me make sure I zoom in on this, and November 22nd and November 23rd. So this might be some kind of a, I don't know how this works. Okay, never mind. The three of them, the Brotherhood run. All right, I get what's going on here. They're going to face each other. On December 21st, it appears as if Duke will play Niagara, which their head coach is Greg Paulus, who many remember from his time as point guard at Duke. And then November 22nd, Niagara will play Howard, perhaps here in Cameron, because Kenny Blakeney, again, a former Duke player back in 95, is the head coach at Howard. And then the next day, November 23rd, Duke will play Howard. So for those of you that have played Midwest volleyball, this is what we call a triangular, where Team A plays Team B, then Team B plays Team C, then Team A plays Team C. In Midwest volleyball, they'd play them all on the same night, but it appears as if it's going to be back-to-back-to-back nights. And obviously John Shire being a former Duke player, you're going to have 3 Duke players coaching against each other on back-to-back-to-back nights. And I think it'd be interesting if they end up playing Howard and Niagara in Cameron, but it certainly looks that way by the graphics. They're calling it the Brotherhood Run. It is mid-November. Kind of interesting there.
That is.
We'll see if that ends up being the case.
Yeah.
Because Greg Paulus would have been there before Shire. So anyway, as a player I'm talking about. Anyway, that's all the college basketball scheduling updates that I have. Now let's jump into some rewind here. There it is. This is even before 02, but I'll accept it.
I know.
And I'm not going to start saying the lyrics because I don't know if in my mind I would edit the right ones.
Right.
You ever get that one where it's a song that obviously needs to be edited, but in your brain it's not a bad word, it's just like the next word?
Right.
Anyway,
yes.
The Thunder won the NBA title. It happened last night. You wouldn't know it because very few people are talking about the Thunder. They're talking about Tyrese Haliburton's injury. But actually, I think both, right? Because the worst part about that whole game, we talked about it, is there is definitely a feeling for the Pacers that if Haliburton would have been able to finish, they would have won. The good news is the point I'm about to make next is true for either. This is proof. Last night's NBA championship, Game 7, the winner being the Thunder or the hypothetical, if Haliburton didn't get hurt, winner being the Pacers, both prove that it is still wildly important in sports to take big swings, to do things differently. Part of the reason why I think old-timers hate analytics so much is because it takes some of the gut feeling away, or it takes some of the difference away. Every team is trying to do the same thing. Every baseball team wants home runs and strikeouts, right? They don't care about walks. They don't care about sacrifice bunts. Every team wants the same thing. Basketball, every team wants three-pointers and layups. There's nobody crushing the mid-range game. So it's very homogenized, right? It's very uniform. Well, the fact that these two teams were the last team standing and that whichever one you want to say deserved to be the winner is the winner proves that the way everybody else is building teams isn't the only way to win. Matter of fact, if you look at the last handful of champions, a lot of them were built in a way that is different than the consensus would say is the best way to build a champion. You look at the Bucks when they won a handful of years ago. You look at the Nuggets when they won a handful of years ago. You look at the Thunder winning this year, or the Pacers being as close as you can be to winning. All of them were built by the team. Team assembled. No super friends forcing trades. Some guys were traded against their will to those teams. Right? So anytime there's a champion of any kind, my first thought is, all right, what can the teams that I want to have win learn from these squads? Carolina Panthers, Carolina Hurricanes, right? The professional sports teams that we care about in this state. What can they learn? Well, the lesson is be stubborn. The lesson is, right? I promise I will never get political. Don't be a sheep, right? Don't go along with what everyone else is trying to do, because for 10 years there was this feeling that you had to have 3 stars. You had to have the big 3, and if you had to trade away every first-round pick you've ever owned and every young player to get one of those established stars, it was worth it. You had to. Well, if you're looking at the championships, it's really not true. It's simply not. So be patient, right? Hopefully you have a patient owner. Be patient. Super teams, they're not really the thing anymore unless they're homegrown. And by the way, super teams, especially in the NBA, they aren't considered, like homegrown super teams for whatever reason aren't considered super teams. If you've drafted and developed them, even if you have 3 top 50 players of all time, for some reason we don't call that a super team. So do it that way, at least until everybody's trying to do it that way. Then stars become cheap on the open market. Then you zig when they zag.
Right.
That's the move. And the crazy part is, even as we watch the NBA Finals break down this way, where the Pacers, who traded Paul George for a haul and traded Domantas Sabonis to get Tyrese Haliburton, when everybody thought the Kings were trading for the All-Star and Domantas Sabonis, they got Haliburton, who was the forgotten guy. Watching the Thunder, who traded Paul George for everything and had traded in the past Kevin Durant and had traded in the past James Harden and all of these things. Even watching those two vie for a championship, the Rockets still traded for Kevin Durant, giving up a young 20-plus point per game player in Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, who's a good role player, the number 10 overall pick in the draft, and 5 second-rounders for a 36-year-old Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a star, don't get me wrong. Kevin Durant is great. He is probably underrated in history's eyes. But you're watching this move not work and doing it again. Here's Shams Charania on how the Kevin Durant trade came together.
Kevin Durant's voice was heard around the league, not only with the Suns, but really everyone. His preferences were prioritized to an extent, and that's what we saw play out over the last 24 hours. His two preferred destinations, the Houston Rockets and the Miami Heat, essentially competing against each other, bidding on making Kevin Durant deals. And the Rockets, at the end of the day, made the best offer with Jalen Green, a prolific scorer, Dylan Brooks, 3-and-D, tough player, but most importantly, the number 10 overall pick. And why is that important? The NBA draft is on Wednesday in New York, and so it was very important for them to get this deal done before that point. But remember back at the NBA trade deadline, Kevin Durant was blindsided when he was included in any conversation around the league. Now he had some level of driver's seat position because he was in the last year of his deal, an expiring contract.
So this is what I don't get. The beauty of what the Rockets had built. Rockets were one of the top seeds in the West, by the way. Is that similar to like the Carolina Hurricanes? They had reached in the regular season super high ranks, right? They were amongst the best teams in the league, and they had every single option to keep building with a young core. Jalen Green's been in the league 3 years. Alperen Sengun, 3 years. Amen Thompson, 1 year. Like there was nobody super old aside from bench players like Jeff Green that contributed this year. Jabari Smith, 2 years. Reed Shepherd, a rookie. Cam Whitmore, a first-round pick in his second year. Like all of this was just so young, and they had the 10th pick in the draft. They had the 10th pick in the draft, and they had all these second-rounders, and they could keep building young and not just aim. If you like, even if Kevin Durant works 2 years, 3 years of a championship window,
right, and he's gone.
You could have been a 10, 15-year window.
Yeah.
It could have been awesome, but you got greedy. That's why, speaking of the Carolina Hurricanes, right? They make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They have all these draft picks, all of the salary cap space, all of these prospects. Somebody on Twitter asked me, what about John Tavares? I'm going like, he better be cheap, because if you're going to get someone 35, whatever Tavares is going to be next year, his window is not lining up with the rest of your team's window. I'd rather spend more and get somebody younger that can be around for a long time.
Yeah. It's kind of like what the Carolina Panthers had been dealing with. I feel like they got Bryce too soon, and the team wasn't on the same level or in the same place.
100%. And by the way, the quarterback and running back should be the two last things you get in an NFL build.
Yeah.
It should be. And you know, the way I describe it is the quarterback and the running back to an extent are the star on the tree, like when you're a Christmas tree. It doesn't make sense to go get the tree and walk into your room and try to put it on anything if you don't have the tree. If you haven't moved the sofa out of the way of where you're going to put the tree. You need the tree stand, which is the offensive line. You need the tree. You need the tinsel. You need the popcorn. You need the ornaments. You need all the lights. You need it all. Then you get the star and it's complete. This feels like the Rockets had it all. And then they went and bought like I don't even know what this would be. Because Durant's not quite the star on the tree because he is for a couple years. I don't know. I don't have a good analogy there. My point is I don't like the move. That's my point. How you like that?
It's good.
I do like that Keegan Bradley may have shown me what it takes to win in the Ryder Cup. For better or worse, Keegan Bradley, the upcoming Ryder Cup is going to be all about him for the U.S. And I've long been like I'm the Adam, like card carrying golf nerd, right? He's with it. I've been in long, drawn out, full group chat arguments about the criteria on which the Ryder Cup selection should be based. Like I also I'm a longtime member of the golf nerd world.
Yeah, very niche.
And the thing that I always think is undervalued, I'll use a hockey term, is sandpaper, right? Usually golf is you against the course, and it's about calming your nerves, and it's about not playing to the crowd, and steady Eddie. Ryder Cup you need some stank on you, right? You need something to you. And it's why I used to love when they had one of the WGCs was the match play, the Dell Technologies, whatever, because match play is different. You need to look somebody in the eye and know, should I give this putt or not? You need to look somebody in the eye and Tiger was legendary at this. When he's playing singles, he would ask you what club you're using, and you wouldn't tell him, but he would look down and see you're taking like a 3-wood, and then he'd go grab a 4-iron and swing as hard as he could to outdrive you, just to be in mentally in, like, you need that. Keegan Bradley might have some. I don't know. Seems like the last 5 years, and he was snubbed in the last Ryder Cup. It seems like the last 5 years, Keegan's put a little extra stank out there. He's learned how to, like, talk trash mentally.
I like the grit.
Yeah, and I don't know where it came from, because early in his career, I would not have put it on him. But, like, when he plays in front of a home crowd, he's from Vermont. When he plays in front of a Northeastern crowd, like he did for the Travelers over the weekend, which he won, he plays with a little extra sauce, right? He pumps up the crowd. He does all of that. That plays at the Ryder Cup. Matter of fact, Keegan Bradley, after the Travelers, which he won over the weekend, obviously gave a little bit of an interview. We have some of that audio. Here it is.
Keegan Bradley, this has become one of the great arenas on the PGA Tour. Every single fan is here for you at the place you said means everything. What does it feel like to get it done once again in front of them?
Absolutely incredible. I feel an obligation to play for the people of New England and the Northeast and represent them, and this is the best way I can do it.
You had some unbelievable moments today, starting with that huge putt on 9, then 15, then right here on 18. What moment are you most proud of?
That one right there. That was of all the shots and all the putts I've hit, I think I'm going to remember that one the most.
That one was clutch. It would be really clutch during something like the Ryder Cup. I know you said you would only be a playing captain if you earned it on points. Have you convinced yourself that you would be an additive to this team now?
Go USA.
He's going to have to make 6 captain's picks. He is not in on points as it stands right now, I don't believe. But he would be if you just went out on points to the next 6. He would be in. Stand on business, Keegan. Put yourself out there. I'm picking me. And say it like that.
Yeah.
Say it with your chest.
Yes. Let that dog in you come out.
I'm picking me. Who wants some? Who wants it? That's what I want from him. I don't know if he will.
I love it.
I don't know if he will, but I think he should. By the way, he'd be the first playing captain that's on the team playing while acting as captain since Arnold Palmer in 1963.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you don't got to pat like that. Doesn't happen often.
I know. And he should drink an Arnold Palmer while he does it.
There you go. Shout out to Arnie. Arnie Palmer's all around. Quickly here, we didn't get to this today, but I want to. NBA draft is on Wednesday. You brought it up during one of the segments that Cooper Flagg is kind of one. And it's been that way since I think he was 12 years old. It's kind of crazy that he's like never really fluctuated. That's got to be so weird because I've talked about this, that the top of the draft, there's excitement there, but your floor is like if Con Knippel tumbles from Duke, he'll go from like, I could be 4th or 3rd overall to like 10th. That's really not that bad. The people that are really kind of sweating it out are like Drake Powell from UNC, who's being mocked anywhere from like 27th to 34th, which obviously in that range jumps from first round to second round, which is a money drop-off and a opportunity drop-off. First round picks have 9 lives in the NBA. You flame out with one team, another team's going to go, ooh, we can make that former first rounder work. So that's where I think a lot of the sweating happens. Cooper Flagg at this point. Over the weekend, he was at the Fanatics Fest.
Oh, nice.
Which was like a card thing. He was buying his own rookie cards.
Wow.
Like people were coming up to him like, I got your rookie with the da-da-da. And he's just like, all right. Like he's like ultra relaxed because he knows he's going 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
He and the Mavs probably have already, I don't know, film videos and stuff for social media. Like
he's got the gear. He's ready.
But some of his teammates, Sion James, does he get drafted? Right? Those kind of questions are much more like sweat-worthy, which will happen on Thursday, by the way, second round. Tyrese Proctor, does he get drafted? Do you have to plan to go overseas? Where are you going for summer camp? Summer league, I should say. Those are more interesting questions. So I think that's kind of where I'm going to be focusing for the next couple of days, not on like, well, come on, Malawash, go 7th or 9th. Like that's the difference is what the difference is there. Lastly, I want to ask this question to you, Victoria. And everyone else, I will encourage you, you can call in. We'll be doing this during the 4 o'clock hour on my afternoon show. So we will open up the phone lines. The phone line at that time, not now, but the phone line at that time will be 919-860-5326. We do a Monday sound off, but in the off season, in this kind of like period where there's not a lot going on, we ask a question rather than letting you sound off on anything.
Nice.
And we've talked about this with musicians with you, but I don't know if we've done it with athletes.
Okay.
Who have you seen before they were them, if that makes any sense?
Oh, yes.
So have you seen an athlete in high school or on the pickup courts or in the minor leagues that you saw and then they went on to someone big?
Yeah. Well, because I went to App State, Armani Edwards.
Okay, that's good.
So that would be the person I would
Panthers
think of.
legend.
Right. Yeah. Panthers legend.
So was this, you saw him, was this pre-Michigan upset?
Yes.
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 All right.
It was
that's
early
to
on.
me when he arrived.
Yes.
When they upset Michigan, that's when he arrived. So
oh, yeah. Big time.
You were around before the Michigan upset's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people around the country that fun fact about that, my mom went to App State.
Yes, that's right.
And they played at Hawaii when we were living in Hawaii. And the radio station was calling them Appalachian State.
Oh.
My mom called in. And it's not Appalachian State. It's Appalachian State.
Good for her.
Yeah, she stood up for all the Appies out there. But in the 4 o'clock hour, we're asking everybody for those stories. Did you see, I'm trying to think of a good one here, like Evan Longoria when he was playing for the Bulls, if he played for the Bulls. I don't know if he did. Did you see Michael Jordan when he was playing for Laney High School?
That'd be cool.
If we want those kind of calls coming in, who have you seen before they were them? I'll give you one of mine. I've got a few, and it's just name dropping, which is kind of fun.
Sure.
I played against Marcus Mariota.
Oh, did you?
When he was in 7th grade.
Oh, wow.
I was in 9th grade. And so our teams were 7th, 8th, and 9th, and he was a starting quarterback on the other team, and we didn't know who he was. So I was the quarterback on one side. He was the quarterback on the other side. Played him twice. We went 1-1. But I'll never forget safety, who went on to play in college, good player for us, came off to the sideline. We had played together the last couple of years. He looked at me and he goes, I don't know who that kid is, but you guys are going to have to score. Because Mariota was that
good.
He was that
already.
dude. As a 7th grader, this was a 9th grader, came over and said, I don't know who that kid is.
I'm avoiding him, though.
But you guys are going to have to score. Basically telling our offense, like,
pick it up.
Yeah, we're going to do our best out here.
Yeah.
But there's a future Heisman winner over on the other side.
You'll see it.
So y'all better score. And we got kind of smoked in the first one, but we came back and got them later. But sometimes it's cool to hear like that obvious. I also like the opposite, when guys weren't good or ladies weren't good. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, I don't know. I looked up and he was David Robinson. It's like, when did that happen? So we're asking that in the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to have people call in, social media in. So if you want to participate in that, we'd love to hear from you. That's on The Drive, which follows this one here on 99.9 The Fan in the Triangle. If you're elsewhere, somewhere else in the state, jump on our YouTube live stream, 99.9 The Fan. You can watch there. Victoria, thank you for hanging out with me for the last 3 hours.
Thank you for hanging out with me and us.
We're gonna say our goodbyes to Victoria, but for the next show, I'm still around pulling a doubleheader. Thank you, everybody here at the Adam Gold Show. I don't know who you have tomorrow, but it won't be me. So enjoy. Go Canes, go Panthers, go all the college teams in the area, and I guess go Wisconsin for naming names. If you're just tuning in now, that'll make sense when you rewatch. We'll see you tomorrow.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Canes fans, your team will be turned upside down.
I said upside down, you're turning me. You're giving love instinctively. Round and round, you're turning me.
Listen all week for our coverage of the Canes free agent frenzy. Instant reaction to all the Canes additions and moves. And the latest signings from across the